Hello, everyone, and welcome to the P1 Broadcasting Network. It's Murph, it's Sam, it's Thursday night, and that means it's AMA Black Magic Studios Grand National Series time, live from the virtual Kansas Motor Speedway. Sam, it's hot, it's slick, these cars are going to be loose.
Oh, I just can't believe that we finally get to Kansas here and have some fun. You talk about a racetrack that drivers show up here and they get so excited because it offers so much diversity and fun and challenge and racing. I mean, it really does offer a lot. Kansas kind of has the whole picture here, and to by all practical purposes, it's usually hot here. But right now during practice, the track temperatures are really divisible.
Yeah, they're not too bad. 70 degrees in the air, 78 on the track. It is windy down there. Wind out of the southwest at 14 miles an hour. Skies are clear, and that gives us a great view, Sam, of this entire complex, because it is a complex after all. Not only the racetrack here, the blank space over on the right side of your screen, that's a casino, the Hollywood Casino, a joint venture between the track and a casino company. And then off to what is now the left side of the top of your screen, Children's Mercy Park, which is the home of Sporting Kansas City, the MLS franchise for the Kansas City area. That's on the Speedway grounds as well, Sam. You can come here, you can go to a race. You can go to a race, you can play cards, you can go to a soccer match, you can do it all here, brother. I'm
telling you, talk about bringing families together and tearing them apart. What can you do?
You know, it's that's kind of how they do things in Kansas City, Sam. The Missouri side of Kansas City, which if you look at the two Kansas Cities, Kansas City, Missouri is by far the larger of the two. Kansas City, Missouri does a very similar thing with Kauffman Stadium, home of the Kansas City Royals, and Arrowhead Stadium, home of the Kansas City Chiefs. Those are part of Truman, the Truman Sports Complex. And essentially, it's a baseball stadium, it's an NFL stadium, and a baseball stadium constructed side by side. They share the same parking lot. Unlike most in the 1960s and 70s, most cities decided to build one big round stadium to hold both sports. Kansas City went a different way. And Sam, they left out what would have been the coolest feature of the whole thing. You know what that was?
What is that?
So if you look at Arrowhead and Kauffman, you'll notice that the roof lines line up, and there are parallel avenues next to the stadiums. There was meant to be a dome that rolled between the two arenas on railroad tracks.
Oh.
So you could have Arrowhead covered, you could have Kauffman covered, you could leave it in the middle and have a covered area for concerts. They never built that part, but that's why the roof lines of those two stadiums look like that. That's why they're positioned that way. I bet you didn't know that.
Mark, I did not know that, but that's why I rely on you for all of this history and information. It is where you excel, my friend.
Speaking of history and information, this track was built as a virtual twin to Chicagoland, opened in 2001. There is a slight difference between this place and Chicagoland, though, Sam. And can you tell us what that is?
Location. I got that one. That one.
It is location. The other one is Chicagoland. Chicagoland, although the tracks are nearly identical, Chicagoland, the backstretch is not straight. It tends to it has a bit of a bow to it, as an ode to Langhorne, which was the great mile circle track in Pennsylvania. So it is not, the backstretch there is not straight. As a result, the exit of turn 2 especially, but it also comes to play a little bit in turn 4. The exit of turn 2 can be extremely treacherous. It's very much like a Darlington or Rockingham style situation, Dover, where that wall just wants to rush up and smack you, Sam.
Oh, it sure does. You're right on the money with the precariousness of turn 2. Really, it's the low side coming off of turn 2 that it's equally as dangerous when you're trying to come off the low side of turn 2 as much as it is when you're trying to get throttle up on the middle or high side of 2. for that very reason. Like you said, the wall just comes at you so fast, and you'll get incredibly loose, and the car can get out of control if you're trying to come off of the bottom in turn two. So there are some nuances about this track that really challenge the drivers to make sure that they're on their P's and Q's and on top of the wheel.
100%. Speaking on top of the wheel, the track record here for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, that's Tyler Reddick, 2019 Kansas Lottery 330.796. The outright track record is held by Thomas Schechter in a Dallara 01. The 2002 Ameristar Casino Indy 200, Sam, care to venture a guess the time? If it's 30.796, how fast do you think Schechter went?
27.
24.874. Oh. So about 6 seconds a lap quicker for the Indy cars around this place.
I thought I was being generous.
That was when the pavement was new here. This track has not been repaved since 2011. It's got a bit of variability in the banking. But one of the things about this track is because of the Kansas winters, it is very rough, and the track eats tires very similar, again, to a Darlington or a Rockingham. So drivers are going to have to be worried about that. Just so you're aware, Sam, this track does have a Roval configuration, and they used to race IMSA cars here. And so you can kind of see it if you look along the backstretch. Turn one, they go left. There's a bit of a chicane. They go down. They have one horseshoe. They come back. They get back on the banking, all in turns 1 and 2, and then use the rest of the oval. The road course record here held by Scott Pruitt in a Riley Mark 16. 1 minute, 9 seconds, 7:45 on the road course. So there you go. The road course here, Sam, 2.3 miles. The oval 1.5. Speaking of times and speed, how about we show the current practice leaderboard? And I'll tell you what, Sam, I'll give you 3 guesses. Who's at the top of that bad boy?
It always seems like we make a running joke of it every race that we show up here at the AMA, and Ryan O'Donoghue always finds his way to the top. But I had told you in a pre-race discussion, just you and I said it looks to me like Kendall Paul brought his fast buggy with him for the playoffs, because he is the one on top of the practice speed today. And so it's going to be interesting to see how all of that plays out and translates into the race itself.
Yes, it does. The top 14 all under the official track record for the Xfinity Series here in the AMA Grand National Series. The top 14, Sam, all under the track record here tonight. We're just about 50 seconds away from qualifying. Before we get there, do want to let everybody know the rule set for tonight. So it is 200 laps, 300 miles, stage breaks at 45 and 90. So we will have at least one pit stop in that final stage. And Sam, they got 4 sets of sticker Goodyears in the pit lane.
Oh, I really don't think that fuel mileage and tires are going to become an issue, at least like what we see typically until the last half of the race. If the drivers are smart, they will really just want to mind their P's and Q's, manage their tires in the first stage, and just work this thing through, and then wait for the end of the race to really start, measuring out exactly how hard they want to push and make their strategies in that last session. Things can happen quickly here, as much as anywhere else, just simply because of the speed. The speeds at this racetrack are incredible for a mile and a half, and the momentum that cars carry. So I would certainly want to play it safe. You got plenty of tire. There's at least one set of tires in there you can experiment or take a gamble with, and then let the rest come to you at the end of the race.
There you go. That has been the Black Magic Studios pre-race show, and we are headed to qualifying, and we're going to follow Troy Carricker in his qualifying bid. He is out onto the racing surface. and we will see what we can get. We'll get right in the helmet with Troy Carricker as he pulls the 94 machine out onto the speedway. And Sam, what are we looking for here in qualifying?
Well, what we're looking for is to get some heat in the tires. That's really the key thing, especially that first run. You can very well may see some of these drivers may qualify the entire run on the top side. It is a ride. I'm just telling you, and you can see even here Troy Carricker's up against the wall, and you can get so much momentum off of that top side. It is amazing how fast you can go down the straightaways once you get that momentum coming off of 2 and 4. And now here's his first lap, and he's right there at the top. And you can put a lot of heat in the tires very quickly by doing that on your first lap. So, maybe Troy might be putting some heat in the tires, turn as fast a lap as he can this first time going around, and then maybe some drivers may take it to the bottom for the second lap.
Troy Carricker did not run the bottom, Sam. He is all the way on that top side. His second time around, he he was temporarily the fastest car, but a big slide. Troy Carricker, big slide nice coming out of turn 4. Nice save. He's
now he loses it again.
now he's lost it. That lap would not have counted anyway. Troy had touched the grass, and so he's.
I really think with cool tires, you're going to see a lot of the drivers are going to be going to that top side to pull off these laps, and so it's a little bit more manageable with colder tires, especially on that first lap if you run the top. But I have seen a lot of drivers who take that first lap up top, and then the second lap they'll take it to the bottom.
Justin Osterman is doing that very thing. We're watching his second lap right now. Osterman was all the way at the top on the first run. This time, he's headed toward the bottom, at least in turns 1 and 2. He's going to run that bottom side in turns 3 and 4, Sam. Here comes
he's got to get down to that line. That really important to get as far down on the bottom as you can if you're going to get a good speed.
It is indeed Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman. He's going to check in 4th quick. Meanwhile, here comes David Dunwoody in the Black Magic Studios number 28. Christian Light checking in. Says it's going to be his last race for a while, and so we're sad to hear that, Christian. Always a good shoe. Always a good shoe and fun to watch. We do thank you for being here, and we look forward to seeing you back here in the AMA Black Magic Studios Grand National Series. David Dunwoody is on the course. He's got black and flames on the side of that 28. Across the start-finish line he comes. That is going to be lap number 2, and it will put him 6th quick. The aforementioned Christian Light. How about him? Here he is. As he will take the 96 around this 1.5 mile circuit.
That Dunwoody paint makes me think of Armor All.
It does. It actually makes me think of the.
Gives me that Armor All. I mean, the scheme kind of matches, the layout matches Harvick's number 29 back in the day, but he's added that highlighted color down the side and inside there, and then he's matted out the black paint, and it just reminds me of the Armor All brand.
You know what I was going to think of, Sam, and what I was going to say. It wasn't Armor All that came to mind for me, but rather, it wasn't Armor All that came to mind for me. It was the old Richard Petty son of a gun protectant commercial, where he says, "Just shoot it with son of a gun protectant." Right? You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. I have some great friends that are Petty fans, and I've done son of a gun paint schemes for them. But those colors are pretty definitively yellow, but I see where you would get that too. That's funny.
Yeah, I can see Richard Petty pointing the vinyl cleaner at me. Shoot it, son of a gun.
Actually, the Petty family had a big press conference this week with Thad Moffitt, so apparently he's going to be driving in the Truck Series.
We'll get
time next year.
Yeah, we'll get more into that here in just a few moments. But Sam, we've got a grid here, so let's get to it. On the pole with a lap of 181.141 miles an hour, it's James Hodgson. He'll be flanked by Ryan O'Donohue at the outside of the front row. Matt Sizzler is going to start third from Kendall Paul. Christian Light, in what he says is going to be his last race for a while. He's going to roll fifth. Greg Evans, the Deuce, he'll be in sixth. Vance Fisher seventh. Justin Osterman eighth. David Dunwoody starts ninth, and Sean Merriman will roll from 10th. In 11th, John Hutchins. 12th is going to be Eric Corder, then Crash Neon, Troy Carricker, Sean Roberts, Rick Fallis, Dylan Godinez, Donald Green, and Keith Graham did not set a time. He will roll away 19th and shotgun on the field. David Dunwoody says that it is Harvick mixed with some admin box colors. And he also says that Son of a Gun protectant is in his cabinet.
It's in his cabinet.
It's in the cabinet in his garage. So.
David's covered all the bases. Why am I not surprised that he would do that?
He's a pretty fair mechanic, which it's a good thing Brian Sharp knows a pretty good mechanic. Because he's always needing somebody to work on his race.
It sounds like Brian Sharp should know a horticulturist more than a mechanic if he's running into trees.
Oh no, Sam!
Hey, I just want to give a shout out to my great friend, the battling Brit, James Hodgson, with the pole tonight. You think James is trying to compensate for the Truck Series race that he had last Friday night? He was so disappointed in missing the playoffs, and then he turns around and comes in here this week and jumps on the pole.
Yeah, James Hodgson was pretty doggone disappointed with his with missing out on the playoffs. We don't get the classic shot from the pace car this time. With the bumper cam, the bumper cover is in the way, so we'll go off the rear suspension of the pace car. This is set to be a pretty fun race. Kansas is always an interesting one, brother, and I'm really looking forward to this one. The pace car is gonna duck on off. We're going to jump up in the flag stand. Barney has the green flag in the air.
Well, they're checking up a little bit in the back of the field there, but everybody seems to be sorting it out. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, but it looks as though Sean Merriman's car is just in a plain black wrapper.
I believe so.
Okay.
And that is not unusual.
We can identify.
Whoa! And speaking of Sean Merriman. Yeah, speaking of Sean Merriman, he got loose. He got in the fence over there in turns 1 and 2. He's going to keep everything going in the right direction. But Sean Merriman with big trouble on this opening lap. Meanwhile, at the front, the battle starts to...
they're wrecking on the front stretch.
All right, man, caution is out.
That is the third...
Eric Corder, Don Roberts. Oh, they're still wrecking. That's Sean Merriman involved. Donald Green caught a piece of this accident.
Yeah, so let's go back here and see what happens. That Sean Merriman up in the wall there. I believe this is all going to start right around here. We've got Troy Carricker. He's up in the wall, but it actually doesn't. That's the 73 car.
I think it starts back here where Sean Roberts. Oh, wait a minute. Vance Fisher. It looks like Vance Fisher may have got loose in the middle of the corner and drove across traffic, and cars began to evade him and then started making contact, avoiding the 73 of Vance Fisher.
Yeah, so here we go. We're watching Vance Fisher. He gets loose on the top of the racetrack, slides to the bottom. He catches it on the apron, but he's going to come up. That is going to get Sean Roberts to move to avoid. He's going to get up and hit and make contact with John Hutchins. And then it's all on from here. Keith Graham misses. Rick Fallis misses. And then poor Sean Merriman,
who already had a bad start to the race.
He's in the wall before this even happens now. But Sean Merriman, he's bouncing off the wall. He'd already been in the wall once.
Oh, Sean Merriman had help. Donald Green just collected him in the rear.
Yeah,
And
here we
that's what
go.
suits Sean Merriman.
There's the contact. Donald Green into Sean Merriman. Across they go, and a hard hit again from Green into the door of Merriman. Sean Merriman is going to be on the pit lane for lengthy repair. We would also assume that Donald Green is going to need some repair, as well as Eric Quarter. But just a crazy turn of events.
Our first lap, yeah.
Dylan Godinez, by the way, has glitched out of the server. Now he's back in, but Godinez seems to be having a bit of a connection issue. We are under caution at lap 3 of 200 here in the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series. And Sam, it always seems to happen that we get some sort of an incident within the first 5 or 10 laps of these races. Hopefully, the way that Kansas runs, we get some heat in the tires, get this baby strung out a little bit, and we'll see some long green flag runs. The track temperature, by the way, has climbed from where it was in qualifying, Sam. 74 in the air, 90 on the track now.
Yes, sir. 90 is now it's starting to get to the precipice where it can really start affecting how the car handles in the corners, especially in turns 2 and 4. Now we're seeing race control is now sending Dylan Godinez to the pit area for his connection issues, and that is a fail-safe within iRacing now. That if there's a concerted event that's being held, that if a driver and his connection continue to be fluctuating to a certain and not meeting a certain standard, then the iRacing race control itself, the sim will actually take him to the pits until that levels out.
And that is very true. And I for one, we talked a lot about this. And we talked a lot about this in one of the open wheel broadcasts. That's something that I think that most competitors have come to really enjoy. As Barney gets the green flag out and racing resumes. It used to be kind of a gentleman's thing where you would. Sam, if you were blinking, you'd go to the back or go to the end of the pack or do something along those lines. Now, iRacing makes that decision for you, because there were people that frankly would abuse that, Sam.
Oh, no question. They would use it as a vehicle, part of the vehicle of their racing, and not have a lot of courtesy. But there's so many nuances to what racers feel like is racers' respect and courtesies, and it seems to shift and change a lot with generations. I don't know why that is, but it just seems to be that way.
I tend to think it's Sam, I tend to think it's a gamer versus racer mentality. We're watching Christian Light. Mm-hmm. Christian Light has moved into third spot, and hello to Christy Miller Light, who is in the chat with us. But Christian has moved up to third spot, and he is rapidly approaching Matt Sisler and Ryan O'Donoghue. Christian, the early adopter of that high side, Sam, he's up there making like Harry Gant, and he's making it work.
It's a lot of fun to run that high line here. A lot of drivers don't want to go there until they start getting some wear into the tires. But there are some drivers that are very comfortable and want to go up there, and they'll stay there the entire race. They're very those big runs off the top side are adrenaline junkies' favorite thing to do here at Kansas. Because you just catch, if they're running the bottom and you get that big run off the top, and you just catch that car that's in front of you so quickly, man. It's a rush.
Yeah, you can really blow by people. I thought you were going to tell me that Harry Gant was an adrenaline junkie. I thought he was just handsome, Sam. There is no man on this planet that is more.
I don't know that Harry actually ever raced at Kansas.
I don't believe he did, but there is nobody on this planet.
Think he did.
There is no man on this planet more handsome than Harry Gant.
Well,
he's still handsome. He's still handsome. He's what, 90-something years old, Sam?
He's close. He's still going at it. He doesn't live far from me. He just lives about 35, 40 minutes from me. He still cuts his own grass. You'll see him out there on the riding mower and doing his yard work.
Christian Light
Still doing
moves.
appearances.
Yeah, Christian Light moves in the second spot. He's eight. Harry Gant is 85 years old, by the way. His famous quip was he was a good race car driver, but a great carpenter.
uh, he was pretty handy, or is pretty handy. I don't want to say was.
Yeah, he most certainly is still around. Sam, 85 years old, but they don't get any more handsome than Harry Gant. That's where the term high, wide, and handsome comes from. If you're an old school NASCAR fan or don't know the reference,
I think Christian has popped into the chat tonight, and of course, he told us that this is going to be his last race for a while. We hope everything's okay, but he certainly wants to leave his mark on this league and this race tonight. He is doing everything he can to race himself up to the front.
Yes, he is. We saw him run up front the last time he was in the series. Here he is. He's gonna go to the bottom and make a bid for the lead on Matt Sisler. And look at David Dunwoody. He's pulled up next to Ryan O'Donohue. Dunwoody is coming to the front. He's bringing Kendall Paul with him. Now you wonder, Sam, Christian Light and David Dunwoody, Kendall Paul, they are running significantly faster than the cars around them. Are they burning up too much of the? Are they burning up too much of the good on the Goodyears? Christian Light goes the lead. They using too much of the good on the Goodyears, Sam, too early, or is this?
Oh, there's no question that the faster that you go here on these tires, the more you're going to use them up. Especially on that high side, like we were talking about, Christian utilizing that high side a lot more. The tendency is you stay in the throttle longer, and the more you stay in the throttle, the more that you use the tire. And you're exactly right. These drivers that are pushing the car early, they could be using a little bit more tire than those that are waiting back. You've got wily veterans like Greg Evans and James Hodgson, and they're just lurking behind this quintet of cars that are battling that out for the. Oh, and Sean Merriman right there at the top as the leaders go by.
Yeah, Sean Merriman. He's had a rough start.
In the wall.
He actually put the car in the wall to let the leaders go, Sam, I think. Sean Merriman not having a good day, already 2 laps down, but continues to circulate. There's Greg Evans. He runs along in 6th. Matt Sisler has taken the lead back from Christian Light. David Dunwoody is now 2nd. Light fighting back on that high side, though, Sam.
I think these drivers they're not going to hurt themselves by pushing this car this hard in the first 2 stages. It's a great time to experiment to see how much tire you use up. It's only 45 laps. I mean, once you get to the 20 lap precipice, you begin to start seeing what the effects on the tires can be. And then by lap 40, it's really exacerbated. But the truth is that if they push these tires really hard in this first run, and then they can look and see what kind of tire wear they got, then they can manage the second and the third stages as well. So I don't think these drivers are hurting themselves by pushing the car a little harder in this first stage.
No, I mean, I wouldn't think so. 45 laps here is about the run that I'm used to making. In an open wheel car, we can really a fuel run here is 45, 50 laps. For us, the tires really start to fade away at lap 25. But you're saying that in a 45 lap run here, the tires will last that, and it's just a matter of how much is left on them at the end?
Yes. Yes.
So when would you say that the tire cliff is, as we would call it, when do you think that would occur, Sam?
Well, like I said, in 20 laps, you really start to see the effect of how hard you're using the tire up. You'll begin to considerably notice your throttle control, when you can get on the throttle. The steering might be affected after 20 laps. Then when you get to 40 laps, then if you're really pushing the car extremely hard, then you're going to witness a lot more fall off, and now cars are really going to begin to start. Tire savers are going to be able to catch you. So 40, 45 laps, you're really going to begin to start telling the difference. But we've got some real tire misers here in the AMA, and they know how to save these tires. I think watching what I'm seeing here, again, you have some drivers who are waiting to the latter part of this stage, and they're just riding. And others like Christian Light and David Dunwoody, who I feel like have really pushed themselves to get up front, and of course uh, Matt Sisler as well. Matt Sisler's just kind of pacing himself with that clean air out front. You might see a little bit of difference in their tire wear.
Yeah, there you go. David Dunwoody now falling back to sixth spot. Kendall Paul up to third. O'Donohue back to second.
We're at that 20 lap mark.
Yeah, they're right at, so maybe this is the point, 20 laps, kind of write that down, Sam, where you're going to see maybe tires start to fade away a little bit. Matt Sisler has gone back to the lead. Ryan O'Donohue second. And look who has pulled his hot rod into third place there, Sam. Kendall Paul. We never even called his name. And he and
Ryan O'Donohue have just been very quiet and riding with these drivers as they're up here.
So I got to share it with you, Sam. Ryan O'Donohue sent me I was talking with him last night. We were chatting a little bit via text. And Ryan O'Donohue sent me a picture of his rig. And I am extremely honored that Ryan O'Donohue has a picture of me next to his rig. Now, Sam, I'm going to qualify that by saying it's not of me. It's of my Indy car, and it's of the Indy Alliance number 69 car stuck in the Sunoco sign at the front of Atlanta's pit lane. He somehow got a hold of that picture and framed it and put it next to his rig.
Oh my heavens! And here I really liked Ryan until then.
I mean, I think maybe he thinks that that's the appropriate place for me to park my car. I don't
know. Well, there's people that put pictures up of goals that they have that they'd like to do, and then there's people that put pictures of goals they never want to achieve.
That's almost me being stuck in the Sunoco sign is almost as good as Brendan Lichtenberg, the Hyperstar. He got his Indy car stuck in the bridge at Dover once, the overpass. He got one stuck up there. Although, in his defense, Brendan planned to do that. It was a private test session, and they were messing around trying to figure out how to do it. I did mine just in a normal accident during practice. It was not intentional.
Now, those that are watching the race are seeing Dylan Godinez as he's beginning to work his way up.
Yes,
the leaders here, but Dylan is several laps down from that from his connection issues. He's trying to make up time.
Yes, he is, and there is the 08 of Dylan Godinez. He is 6 laps down, but it would be a boon to him to pick up one more. That would put him 5 laps down. He is on fresher tires by 10 laps than everybody else, so he'll he will most likely, if he can get a lap back here, Sam, I would think he would take the wave around and try to get one more lap back. I don't know if he's going to be able to pass Donald Green twice in 20 laps, but Dylan Godinez certainly is going to try to make up the time if he can.
Well, he has no choice at this particular point. He really has to really push the car and push himself to try and make up that differential. It's a big task that he has in front of him, but he does with 10 lap fresher tires and catching the leaders right now. He's up for the task. I really give him a lot of credit for being out here and just trying to make that happen here in the first stage of the race. He's working hard at least to get one of those laps back the natural way.
Yes, he is.
Oh, he hits the grass and gets loose. And that slowed all that momentum down that he had.
He's given it a shot though, Sam. He's definitely
Sean Roberts coming off the pit lane.
Sean Roberts, by the way, is 17 laps down and scored in the last position, but he's getting it repaired, Sam. He's got the car repaired, and he'll head back out onto the Kansas Speedway. We're at lap 28 of 200. here in the Kansas 300, the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series. If you haven't already done so, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so that you'll be notified of all future P1 broadcasts, including the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series and the Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series, both of which are carried here on P1. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty of these seasons, Sam. Next week, we go to the Roval at Charlotte, and then it's the round of 8. October 9th, Las Vegas. October 16th, Talladega. October 23rd at Martinsville. That's just about as diverse a set of tracks as you can have for a round of 8 before we close it out on October 30th, Championship 4 at Phoenix.
Yeah, just throwing all that diversity out there as far as track discipline is concerned really puts these drivers to task. You'll have the road course aces, and then you'll have those that are really shine at restrictor plate racing, and so it really does kind of push these drivers to bring their A game to every venue that they show up at.
That's exactly right, Sam. Dylan Godinez has gotten past Kendall Paul, and he resumes his pursuit of getting at least one of his laps back. Speaking of that truck series, Sam, there are only 4 races left in that guy. October 3rd, we've got the Queen City 250 at the Charlotte Roval, the Blackmagic Studios 220 at Talladega, and then the truck series at Martinsville. That's October 17th and 24th. They're going to end that thing on Halloween night for the Archway Industrial Coatings 150 at the Phoenix Oval. And so that's what...
folks better hold on. They better hold on for that Martinsville race. That's all I got to say. It's going to be a barn burner.
I mean, can you imagine? You're going to have a Roval, you're going to have a Super Speedway, and you're going to have the paperclip short track in 3 races to decide who goes to the Championship 4 in the Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. That's about as good as it gets, Sam.
Oh, I agree with you 100% on that. I look forward to seeing how these drivers are going to navigate through all those challenges at different racetracks and to see who comes out on top. Because there's a lot of good drivers in that truck series.
There's a lot of good drivers in this Grand National Series as well. We're watching Dylan Godinez as he's going to try to get past Matt Sisler in the 3 Birdies Chevrolet.
Yeah, Matt actually passed Ryan O'Donohue back for the lead, and now he's trying to hold off the 08 to keep him from getting that lap back.
Yeah, and I believe Dylan Godinez is serving notice. If he can get back to that lead lap, he would be a factor. He would be a factor in this race. But Sam, he's going to need a fearsome charge and a lot of luck to get there. 6 laps down. Now we know he's going to have he's going to have at least one more caution after this one, but not quite in position to get that lucky dog as Dylan Godinez as he goes to 5 laps down now. Donald Green is 4 down, but he'd have to pass Donald Green twice in about 15 miles. I don't necessarily think
he gets into the wall on entry there. Keith Graham on the apron coming out of the pit area.
Now, that's not what Donald Green or Dylan Godinez wants to see because Keith Graham is going to go a lap down. Matt Sisler is your leader in the 3 Birdies Chevrolet. Ryan O'Donohue is second in the number 14. In the number 14 machine, Kendall Paul rounds out your top 3. Christian Light. There's Christian. He is 4th. There's Christian Light. Greg Evans in the deuce is 5th, and he's racing along with your favorite Brit, James Hodgson in the forward-facing 88 in 6th.
And those 2 drivers, surprisingly, they're not racing up here with these leaders. They've just settled into their little places, Evans and Hodgson, and they've just settled in right there. Dunwoody and Light, after making their big charges at the beginning of the stage, they've actually kind of settled into their own little places in the top 10 as well. Dylan Godinez is probably very happy to have some clean air on the nose of that 08. I know that Matt Sisler is really rattling him here and staying very close, but Dylan's got that clean air, and I'm sure that he's excited for the potential of maybe staying out there and getting his lap back. I would dare to say, though, as hard as he's pushed the car, if the tires may or may not equalize, because we're seeing these leaders who are 10 lap or on 10 lap older tires, they're able to keep pace with Dylan Godinez.
Yeah, and that's the thing for Godinez. It's get by the leader at all costs, Sam. Get your lap back, and then we'll figure out how to keep it and go from there.
Yeah, how can I keep the spot?
Yeah, I'm gonna get that lap back, and then at this point, with him being 5 laps down, he knows he's gonna have to have some big things happen in order to get back into contention. But this is step 1 of 312. And he's got it completed. Now he's just got to hold on for another 6 laps, and he would be in good shape. Sean Merriman, by the way, is also back there. Sean Merriman is coming hard. He is on 6-lap-old tires, so he's going to get in the TV shot. He is going to blow by all 3 of these cars here in pretty short order. But the black car, Sean Merriman, is 15 laps down. Do want to welcome David Warmuth to the chat. Thank you so much for tuning us in, David. Remember, if you haven't done it already, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, and subscribe to P1 so you can be notified of all future broadcasts like the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series and the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series Thursday and Friday nights right here on P1. We have 5 laps to go in the stage. There's some news for Dylan Godinez. The car in front of him is Donald Green, and so there are all the different stories that play out in a motor race, Sam. Of all the different stories that play out in a motor race, this may be one that would be
and Sisler's not going to let it happen so easily. Here, Matt Sisler goes on the inside of Godinez here.
Yes, they are. Now, that pass is very difficult to make on the bottom there, isn't it, Sam?
Yes, it is, and if Godinez is really just minding his P's and Q's, there he goes. That's what I was getting ready to say. He'll utilize that top side to keep a big run and momentum going. Look at the front stretch. And Ryan O'Donoghue's deciding he wants to look at 3 wide.
Yeah, O'Donoghue wants a piece of this, and I'm kind of wondering about Donald Green there. Is he helping or hurting Dylan Godinez, Matt Sisler?
It's going to be interesting because Dylan Godinez is on the high side, and it looks like that's going to slow his momentum down there, Donald Green being in front of him. But now Donald's going to...
Ooh, he's going to put him in the middle, Sam. 3 wide. So Godinez and Green are now at least...
a little in the wall there.
Yeah, now Dylan Godinez and Donald Green are at least on the same lap. Neither one is going to be eligible for the lucky dog, but that's going to put them on the same lap here for this caution. And so perhaps it is, Sam, that's going to work out to Dylan Godinez's advantage here. You get a couple of yellows in the next 2 stages. Get the stage break. Keith Graham is obviously going to get the lucky dog here, but you get a couple of yellows and a couple of breaks here, Sam. Dylan Godinez could be right back in this thing. Do not count him out. Matt Sisler is going to cross the line. 2 laps to go in the stage. Mom wants to know, does Christian Light have a new sponsor on his car? Well, let's check it out, Mom. Let's see what he's got. Scooters on the side of that Chevrolet. Scooters Coffee is the branding on the number 96. And so there goes Christian Light. Good looking hot rod, by the way. And he's
nice looking livery.
Yeah, and he's giving it a pretty good ride, Sam. He's running 4th. Christian Light.
He's steadily been there ever since he drove up to the front. He's just nestled himself right into that spot.
Yes, he has. He's led some of this race. His low point was actually a starting position in 5th, so a good run for Christian Light thus far in that number 96. He's going to go under danger close teammate Donald Green. But there's Christian Light. James Hodgson, we mentioned him earlier. He's been in a battle with Greg Evans for the 6th and 7th spot. Speaking of 7th, that's David Dunwoody in the 28th. He is currently under fire from Vance Fisher. And then behind them, 9th place, Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman.
Caution's out.
And Rick Fallis. Rick Fallis will trigger the stage break, and the stage is going to be won by this man right here, Matt Sisler, in the Three Birdies Golf Company Chevrolet. He will take it from Ryan O'Donoghue, Kendall Paul, Kristen Light, and Greg Evans, your top 5 in the stage. And so valuable stage points, not won by Ryan O'Donohue or Kendall Paul or Greg Evans for that matter, because Matt Sisler is not in the playoffs. Neither is Christian Light.
Well, it's not for a lack of want on Matt Sisler's part. He wanted to be in these playoffs, but he did not meet some requirements
He didn't
to
meet
make
the
field. So.
Yeah, he didn't meet the eligibility, and that's a shame. And I guarantee you, we will see Matt Sisler, Sean Merriman, Sean Roberts, those guys. Or Sean Roberts especially, along with Matt Sisler. We're gonna see those guys back in 2026 here in the AMA. They've really enjoyed being with us here, not only in the AMA but also on P1. We are under caution, 47 of 200 complete. You are watching the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series on the P1 Broadcasting Channel. Sam, we're getting ready for wholesale pit stops here.
Give me 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles, and let's see what we can do for the second stage. Now, this stage will be the shortest of all the stages, as we'll run this one to lap 90. But, again, you may see some drivers that will push their tires incredibly hard, and then you may see some drivers that will be a little more conservative and just ride this thing out.
Yes, indeed.
But we do have to face the dreaded restart, and so you never know what's going to happen on a restart. Oh, Rick D really missed his pit stall there.
Yes, he did.
He's still struggling. John Hutchins is also another one that's really struggling to get into a pit stall.
Yes, indeed. Matt Sisler is going to win the race off a pit lane. He'll be followed by O'Donohue, Paul, Light, and Evans. I do want to point out to David in the chat there that I am a fan of steaks from the Sizzler. The problem is that I have not seen a Sizzler or a Western Sizzlin' for that matter. And yes, Sam, I'm old enough to remember both. I haven't seen a Sizzler or a Western Sizzlin' in a long, long time. Do those things even still exist?
There are a few we here in the South, we live where Western Sizzlin' comes from. So I don't know why it's called Western Sizzlin', but and the Sizzler, but there are a couple of Western Sizzlers that are still around. There used to be one just down the road in Dale Jarrett's hometown in Newton, North Carolina, and then there used to be one in Harry Gant's hometown in Taylorsville, North Carolina. So there's been some Western Sizzlins still around, from my understanding. There's still one. There's still several in North Carolina. I do know that for a fact. There's one. I know there's one in Monroe, which is just outside of Charlotte, and then there's one up in the mountains in Spruce Pine. I know that there's one there. So there's a couple in North Carolina that I'm aware of.
Yeah, there's 25 Western Sizzlins and 80 some odd Sizzlers still around.
Now I haven't seen a Sizzler. We didn't see many Sizzlers here.
We used to have one of each in Evansville, Indiana, way back when. The Western Sizzlin' was actually not too far from my grandmother's house, or from my grandma's house on Belmead Avenue, and we used to eat there every so often. The Sizzler was where the Barnes and Nobles is now, which is kind of unique. Our Barnes and Nobles is kind of built into a hillside. It's kind of built into a hillside, and it's 3 floors, which most of them are just one and they're wide open. That one's 3, and there's all sorts of nooks and crannies.
Talk about sizzling. We're back under green.
he's got the irons in the fire, Sam. He's going for it. Kendall Paul is dropped underneath Ryan O'Donohue. And there's Kendall Paul. He's going to make a bid for second spot here, Sam.
What a great job considering how unfortunate Rick Fallis's pit stop was. He still managed to hold on to that 10th position. So kudos to Rick Fallis. I guess
I think we had quite a few cars.
Smiled on him a little bit.
Well, I think we had quite a few cars that came in for repair. It's worth mentioning. It's worth mentioning Dylan Godinez did stay out And so he is 5 laps down, but he is 42 laps on his current run, and so he's going to have to think about coming to pit lane. What, within the next 15, 20 laps, Sam?
Oh yeah, no question. I know that he's probably, by all practical purposes, hoping that he'll catch another, fortunate caution. And like we were saying, there's a lot of factors that really have to come into play for him to make up that many laps. Now, we have seen drivers.
Whoa, we've got cars running in the back. Troy Carricker, I believe
there's
caution
the
is
that we were just talking about.
Yeah, caution's on the Speedway. It's Eric Graham. Troy Carricker is involved, and that may be a boon here for Dylan Godinez, except I think he might have been involved along with Keith Graham.
Oh, my heavens. Well, what I see right away is that Donald Green gets loose off of turn 2, just as Troy Carricker and Eric Corder are going beneath him. He kind of tries to save the car, and he hits Carricker in the door. And then behind them,
that's accident. That's accident 1. I think the contact between Merriman between
Carricker and Green.
Well, the contact with Carricker and Green would be because Donald Green got a little bit loose.
Right.
The deal between Carricker and Merriman, or Sean Roberts rather, appears to have been more net code than anything else. Mm-hmm. Now here's the issue with that situation. Poor Keith Graham.
Sean Roberts really got into the back of Godinez, and then Keith Graham got in the back of him. That seems pretty.
Well, but here's the problem with that. None of them are going to get the lucky dog, Sam. Troy Carricker goes a lap down in the pit lane. He's got the meatball. Donald Green has disconnected. Dylan Godinez is going to be able to come in and get tires at least. He needed to make a pit stop. But Sam, those guys not going to be able to get the lucky dog here because of that contact.
Not one of them.
Yeah.
Not even one of them. That's a shame.
It most certainly
That was really going to work out for Godinez.
Oh, for sure. He would have gained it.
Yeah, and Keith Graham is back a lap down again.
Yeah,
did he get the lucky dog? Did he take the lucky dog the last time around?
He did get the lucky dog at the stage break, but he's not eligible here because he was involved in the accident.
Troy Carricker that damage was
terminal.
Critical for Troy. Yeah, for Troy Carricker. And now I knew when he got into turns 2 or 3 and 4, the car was completely out of control. It was almost like he had no steering whatsoever, and that just left him probably with some severe tire and suspension damage, and so it was just too much to overcome. What a shame.
Yeah, Troy Carricker has he's decided to call it a night, as has Donald Green. They are both out of the race here at Kansas. Hit the wall so hard it knocked out his inner. It wasn't so much that he hit the wall once. I think for Troy Carricker, it was that he hit the wall and he kept hitting it. So poor Troy Carricker is out of the race this evening. Do want to thank everybody for joining in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, and subscribe to the P1 Broadcasting Network and be advised of all future P1 broadcasts. I do want to thank the series sponsors, Blackmagic Studios. If you need an iRacing paint or wrap for your virtual car, find them on Facebook, Discord. Andy Dunwoody or David Dunwoody, as he is known, would love to hook you up with a paint job. I can personally vouch for those. I run those on my Indy cars, so very proud to do so. Which may or may not be an endorsement, Sam, depending on how you look at
it. You can take it either way, can't you?
I mean, I'm an old and slow guy, Sam. I'm just old and I'm a retired.
Yeah, that seems to be your motto, but nobody's buying it by now.
We are back under green flag action here. Matt Sizzler leads away. Kendall Paul gets the drop on Ryan O'Donohue, who goes high, and that's going to open the floodgates. He's got Greg Evans to the bottom, and he's got Dunwoody and Christian Light coming. They're about to put O'Donoghue 3 wide. Dunwoody thinks better of it, slides up behind him, Sam.
Now, again, this stage is going to be considerably shorter than the other stages, and so some drivers may see this as an opportunity to try and make up some track position. But if those other drivers are paying close attention, they'll say, no, we're going to run a little bit quicker pace. We're not going to allow you to just come run roughshod up through here. And so what we're seeing is, in my opinion, what we're seeing is this battle for positions and track position is really, really heating up here in this second stage.
Yeah, it most certainly is. And look, if you thought Christian Light was going to driving that car like it was stolen earlier, he's definitely doing so now. Christian Light all over the back of Greg Evans as Sizzler leads it away. Sizzler has maybe half a car length over Kendall Paul. Ryan O'Donoghue drops the inside of Kendall Paul, and here comes Greg Evans and Christian Light lined up right behind him.
My question is after these first few laps, who's going to the top first? Who's going to run that top line first?
Well, right now, Kendall Paul's up there. Christian Light's looking like
he's forced up there.
Well, Christian Light looks like he's trying to sneak up there. Kendall Paul almost got in the wall, Sam.
Well, the only downside is that the track temperature is still high enough that the car can be a little bit unstable on that high side. But we're watching steadily. We're watching as the stem time continues to creep toward late afternoon. The track temperature will continue to go down, and that grip will increase on the top side with every degree that goes down. So these drivers by the end of this event could very well be utilizing that top line to their advantage.
And there it is, what Sam was talking about. 73 degrees in the air, 88 on the track. The wind is starting to die down southeast at 11 miles an hour now. It is still clear here in Kansas, but the temperature is starting to drop. And that's only going to make the racing better as it does drop, Sam.
Yes, sir. The grip increases. The driver's prowess begins to rise up, and the adrenaline and the testosterone starts to flow, and drivers will take more chances when you have more grip like that. Now we have drivers that are vying against Matt Sisler to see if they can lead this event. Ryan O'Donoghue back to the front, and this is the first time that we've seen the Deuce racing for the lead position, as Greg Evans has now found himself into second place.
Yeah, it's taken 61 laps for Greg Evans to get there, but he and Ryan O'Donoghue are locked together again. They've got Christian Light in hot pursuit, and they have managed to kick Matt Sisler back to fourth spot. So that is the top four. That's O'Donoghue, Evans, Light, and Sisler. Back in fifth, you've got Kendall Paul. He's being pursued by David Dunwoody and Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman. So there's those three, Kendall Paul, David Dunwoody, and Justin Osterman. And then you go back about a half a second. You've got James Hodgson, Vance Fisher, Crash Neon. We haven't called that name tonight. There's Crash Neon, and we'll get a close-up on his car, the Twin Peaks Ghost Machine. He runs along in 10th. That's a familiar open wheel competitor. John Hutchins in the 72. He is 11th there at quarter 12th. Rick D just kind of stroking along, Sam. Look out. I bet he's going to be a factor here before this is all over with. If we get a long green flag run. But Rick D 13th. Keith Graham lap down in 14th, and Dylan Godinez. He was kind of saved by the caution there. He's driven up halfway through the field, Sam. He might be bidding to get one more lap back naturally before this next stage. Got some work to do, though.
It's very possible. Some strategies are going to play out here in the second stage. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit preoccupied watching Crash Neon. He's going down the backstretch and just randomly just caught the outside wall on the backstretch. It's a really unusual place, but now he's set himself up to make a pass on Vance Fisher as they go down the backstretch now. The car sometimes can have a tendency to kind of float on you a little bit, and then drivers sometimes have the tendency to overcorrect for that floating when it kind of moved from side to side on straightaways. But I just thought for sure he was in trouble the way he hit that wall. Vance Fisher's not going to give it up easily.
No, he's not. Do want to point out, Sam, that Miss Natalie just brought me a glass iced tea, and she said that there is no more iced tea in the house. So that is a crisis. I now know what I'm doing after the race is over.
Kyle, he stops.
No, I have to make. We go through this'll make you laugh. We go through a gallon of iced tea in this house every 2 days.
And 3 pounds of strawberries.
And 2 pounds of strawberry, and at least a pound of strawberry. So the daily intake here is a pound of strawberries and a half a gallon of iced tea every day. We're watching Crash Neon. He's working to the outside.
But is it sweet tea?
Well, I live in northern Indiana, Sam, so we don't.
Then it's not sweet.
It's not sweet. Although I go in. Natalie doesn't like sweet tea. I go in spurts where I like it and don't. But we're trying to kind of trim ourselves down a little bit, Sam, and so a lot of the sugar and such have been has been edited from the diet. And we're doing pretty good too.
Did you see who's decided to take the lead?
Yeah, I saw that, and Matt Sizzler goes by Ryan O'Donohue in a second. But it's the Deuce. A familiar sight has reared its head here at the front of the field in Kansas. It's the Sim Magic machine of Greg Evans back to the top of the leaderboard. Evans now leads Matt Sizzler, who has regained the second spot over Ryan O'Donohue. Christian Light is starting to lose the back of this train. He's almost a second clear of Kendall Paul, David Dunwoody, and Justin Osterman. But Christian Light just is I think he's abused his stuff a little bit too much, Sam. And now you've got
we're at that 20 lap. We're a little over 20 laps on this run. So now again, you're going to start seeing the difference in how it can affect the tires at tracks like this, especially is those tires could be equaling out, and it gets to a certain point, and based on your driving style, you are where you are until someone else either wears out more tire or you can save a little. And we saw this in the first run with Christian Light and David Dunwoody for that matter, and now we're seeing it's starting to materialize again.
Yes, it is. I do want to point out Crash Neon is attempting to work his way past Dylan Godinez. Godinez got halfway through the field, Sam, and I think his tires are slowly giving up the ghost. I think he's going to fall into the clutches of Vance Fisher and Rick.
Did he change tires at the last stop? Because he may be trying to save tires. He may have just fueled up, and after staying out, he may have just fueled up and kept tires on.
I would assume so, given that he drove from the back of the field all the way up to what was effectively 7th on the track. So I would assume he had tires. I would assume the time in the pit stall would indicate that he did as well. Also, he repaired some damage. So Dylan Godinez, he's trying, but he's slowly fading to the back.
Well, the only other alternative to that is that he's trying consciously to save as much tire out of this set as he can.
It could be.
Because, because after he could have very well forgot to turn his pit crew off in the sim, and whenever he was having his connection issues, they may have pitted him when he went in. iRacing set him in the pit stall. It could have very well pitted him if he didn't have the pit stop or tires changed clicked, and so he could very well be at a deficit in tires. That's why he's just pacing himself floor.
It's completely possible. Do want to welcome Mike Rigney into the chat. So, Sam, you and Mike and I are about to have a discussion about tea.
Are we? Because I didn't know Mike was much of a tea drinker.
He's accusing me of blasphemy, and so now we're going to have a discussion about tea. My wife just doesn't like sweet tea. I'm not a big sweet person at all. Strawberries are about the sweetest thing I eat, and I'm probably a weird guy, Sam. I drink, I smoke, I gamble. I don't eat candy or chocolate at all. Like occasionally, maybe some Skittles.
That's my guilty pleasure is the dark chocolate. I love dark chocolate.
I had a coach one time that told me that he said, Murph, there's a vice that you shouldn't have, and so candy is the vice that I don't have, and so sweet just doesn't.
I don't know that that's a vice. I would not call that a vice.
Sweets just aren't in my palate, so I don't eat a lot of sweet stuff. And we're trying. I do enjoy sweet tea, but my wife does not like it, so I have to make it unsweetened and then add sugar. If the fancy tickles me, Matt Sisler and Ryan O'Donohue, by the way, battling for second.
Oh, they're putting on a show. Yeah. Ryan O'Donohue really pushed himself hard to get around Sisler, and then when he finally did, Matt Sisler did a crossover.
Look at the run Ryan O'Donohue gets.
He went up that top side. He really wants around Matt Sisler now after that crossover, and they're going at it back there. Oh, he's in the wall this time. That's going to slow his momentum down. He's not going to be able to get that big run off of turn 4.
Look at how close Ryan O'Donohue gets.
That is a very, very tricky thing to do at Kansas is carry your momentum on that high side on entry and still be able to throttle up quickly without hitting the wall at the apex of the corner. And so it can be treacherous up there at times, especially with the speeds that you carry.
You know, it most certainly can. Looking out of the eyeballs of Ryan O'Donohue, and I know it looks smooth on the racetrack, fans. I know it looks smooth. Watch Ryan O'Donohue's hands right here going into turn 1.
Oh, you're gonna love this.
Look at this man's saw on the steering wheel. It's not nearly as pronounced as our man Lionel Callisto, but he's turning that baby to the right coming off the corners for sure, Sam.
Oh, it's especially running that low line off of 2. The smallest of adjustments are being made with every little turn of that wheel.
Yes,
the driver is not doing that just to be doing that.
Caution!
Oh, now we have a
caution is on.
Neon. Crash Neon made some big exclamation in the server. I don't know. I think the wreck was ahead of him actually.
Yeah, we've got Eric Quarter sideways here. And
it's Justin Osterman drive right in. He drove so deep in on Christian Light right there.
Yeah, here we go. Christian Light has the meatball. It was the 77 of Eric Quarter. And what in the world? Justin Osterman drove way deep. I mean, there was some net code there, Sam. But that was always going to be contact. And poor Christian Light gets the brunt end of it hard into that outside wall. And then eventually you're going to... There's
David Dunwoody actually get the piece of this as well. Call some netcode. I think he got a piece of it with netcode as well.
Yeah, let's check out Dunwoody here. We're gonna jump into the passenger seat with David Dunwoody, and let's see.
Oh no! That's wow. Someone just did not get Eric Quarter, like you said. He just could not get stopped, and then he T-bones Christian Light. That's terminal probably for Christian Light tonight. I know that is not the way that he wanted to go out with his last race in the AMA for a while.
It is, and he gave it a good ride, Sam. But here it is from Eric Quarter. This is inside the helmet of Eric Quarter. That's the thing you see flapping is the visor. And I see what happened to Quarter. He tried to slow down. It upset the car, and he had no brakes, and he just slides right into Christian Light. A tough break for Christian Light. Had been running so very well this evening. He is out of the race. at lap 82 of 200. That is going to hand the lucky dog to this man right here, Dylan Godinez. So he's going to get one of his laps back, Sam, and he'll be able to come down, top off on fuel. Godinez is going to go to 4 laps down. Eric Quarter is a lap down on pit lane. Christian Light, same way. Keith Graham has retired his car, as has Troy Carrick and Donald Green. Sean Merriman and Sean Roberts, the Sean and Sean, so they're still circulating. We're right there with you, Christy. We're sad too, man. Christian gave it. Christian was worth the price of admission tonight, Sam.
Yeah, there's no doubt that Christian he came on a mission, and it just so happened that things did not work into his favor because of this this netcode contact. It was really, really close, but what a shame that his night come to a close like that.
It is indeed. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in this event. No fast repair, David. These are this league is run to as close to realistic rules as you can make it. So no fast repair. Do want to thank Kendi for checking in, and thank you so much for the super chat. And Christy, we're going to miss you too.
We'll miss you as well. We hope that Christian will have some kind of second thoughts and get back to us as soon as possible. And we're always glad to have you tuning in with us here at P1 Broadcasting.
Yeah, don't be shy. Just because Christian's not racing doesn't mean you can't come check in and quiz Sam about his infinite
peanut
knowledge
butter and jelly sandwiches.
Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, or any of his other infinite knowledge about motor racing. Sam
we
Crow,
leave that to Mark.
Sam Crow is a font of knowledge about the motor sporting arts. As we get ready to come back to green flag action. Greg Evans leads away from Ryan O'Donohue, Matt Sizzler, Kendall Paul, and we do thank you, Kendi. That was very kind of you, and thank you so much for the super chats.
Kendi is very super thoughtful. Thank you.
Yes, sir, Sam. 84 of 200 to go, and we're getting right up on. We're getting right up.
That's good to know, Christy. You know, real life does take precedence in these instances. After all, this is a hobby, and it's always nice to have a mom that's willing to support her son the way that you're doing here in his hobby. So, we understand completely.
To be fair,
he's in the Air Force.
Yeah, to be fair, I think he's in the service, Sam, and so
is he deployed? Is he going to be deployed?
Is he going overseas, or is he going back to his base? Or we're going to need some.
Yeah.
We're going to need some more information.
Yeah,
we need to send Christian a care
let's
package.
Show some love. Yeah, let's show some love to our servicemen. That'd be great.
Absolutely, and we're sorry you're out, Keith. I know that's frustrating. To get damaged early. We're watching the battle for second. Greg Evans has decided that he's had enough of all this, and he's just decided to drive away. So it's Sizzler, O'Donohue, Kendall Paul, and Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman. They are second, third, fourth, and fifth here. Interested observer in all this is James Hodgson, and let's get on board with James Hodgson, and you'll get a front row seat to the battle.
Oh, Dunwoody back in the wall again, and John Hutchins just misses him.
And that's going to drop David Dunwoody back to 11th. Hutchins and Rick D. Fallis, they get by him for 9th and 10th spots respectively. And just by circulating, and remember, we talked about this, and we talk about this a lot, Sam.
Yes.
Now, we talk about this a lot, Sam, but Dylan Godinez, just by virtue of continuing to circulate out here, Dylan Godinez has made it up to 12th spot. He's 4 laps down, but that's a playoff. That? Yeah, that's a playoff car.
And he was 6 laps down at one point.
Yes, he was. And right now, as it stands, Dylan Godinez would go to 3 laps down at the stage. And remember, we're going to throw the caution for the stage break here
Lap 90.
at
Here in
lap
just a couple
90.
laps.
Yeah, so just one more lap, Sam, or a couple more. Dylan Godinez would be 3 laps down. And that's within earshot of being able to get back up there. Meanwhile, back at the front, my cheek keeps touching the end of the microphone, and that's causing it to cut out. Meanwhile, back at the front, we've got Justin Osterman, who has pulled up right on the back of Kendall Paul, and that is not going to make that number 78 comfortable at all, is it, Sam?
Well, especially if in light that Justin was just in the incident and racing was so close that there was some netcode that caused an incident, and so it's always in the back of your mind when drivers are discussing that someone might have netcoded, and where did the netcode? Where was iRacing reading that netcode from? Was it from the connection of an Osterman vehicle? Was it the connection from Christian Light's vehicle? It's just there's just a lot of questions that drivers ask themselves when those situations pop up.
All right, man. Caution is out. Caution is out.
And there's your caution. Rick Fallis crosses the line in 10th position. That brings out the end of the second stage. And at the end of the second stage, we find that our leader is the Deuce of Greg Evans and Matt Sisler in second, Kendall Paul third, Justin Osterman pulling up in the 4th spot, Ryan O'Donoghue in 5th. James Hodgson, our pole sitter, is in 6th. Crash Neon worked himself up into 7th, all the way from 13th place. John Hutchins is in 8th. Vance Fisher in 9th. And Rick D. Fallis rounds out our top 10 as the drivers are now going to be coming around this time as they pick up the pace car on the backstretch. They're going to be coming down and getting some fresh tires, some Sunoco fuel, and get ready for this long final stage.
Yes, indeed. And where have we seen Greg Evans win a stage before? That's never happened, Sam. It's unprecedented territory tonight here at in the AMA at Kansas. So Evans wins the stage, Sisler second, Kendall Paul third, Justin Osterman fourth, Ryan O'Donoghue fifth, and Hodgson, Neon, Hutchins, Fisher, and Fallis round out your top 10. Dylan Godinez going to get one more lap back, Sam. That's going to make him 3 laps down. How about that?
I think it's astronomical that he's been able to get 3 laps here at Kansas back the way that he has, and so we're eager to see if anything happens in this final stage. He's on a lap by himself now, so as long as he stays out of trouble, he's really going to be in a great position that he can make up more laps if more cautions come out. Oh, Kendall Paul misses his pit stall. Oh, he missed it really badly this time, and that's going to hurt him on the restart about where he starts.
Yes, it does. And Sam, I know that I know that we talk about championships and guys having fast cars. Oftentimes, it's the littlest of things that throw a championship run into chaos. That's one of those things. Do want to point out John Hutchins stayed out. So John Hutchins is still out on 11 lap old tires. Everybody else will have been to pit lane. He is in the Place Worship Center Ford Thunder. Did I just say Ford Thunderbird?
You sure did. You got Thunder Chicken on the brain.
I definitely got chicken on the brain. We were talking about the Sizzler earlier. Now I'm hungry.
And drinking tea, iced tea.
I know, man. If I had a bucket of fried chicken, it could be Sunday night when I was about 10 years old. Now, I will say this. I know that I said I don't do a lot of sweet stuff. I do have a weakness for soft drinks. And right now, I'm enjoying, along with my jug of iced tea that my wife brought me, I have a ski cola in my hand, Sam. You ever had a ski?
E
Ski, S-K-I.
SKI Ski Cola. No, I've never heard of Ski Cola.
Ski is a local delicacy from southwestern Indiana. I'm going to put it in the chat. It is a local delicacy from southwestern Indiana. They only really sell it between Bloomington, Indiana, down to about Nashville. It might get as far east as Louisville and as far west as St. Louis. But ski is my guilty pleasure, Sam. My mom and dad, when they come to town, my mom and stepdad and my dad and my stepmom, when they come to town, Mr. Murphy and Mrs. Souter always bring me at least one case of skis because I can't get it where I live, Sam.
I've never heard of ski, and I've heard a lot of soft drinks, but never ski.
Now let's watch John Hutchins here. He's on those tires that were 10 laps old when the caution flew. I don't know that he's going to stick around the front of this deal for very long, Sam. Matt Sisler goes for the lead. And
not with these hot shoes behind him. These drivers are probably of a mindset that they're probably going to run hard for about 50, at least 45, 50 laps, or it would have to be somewhere around 50 to 55 laps so that they can make it to the end. And so they're not holding anything back. And especially, the 53 of Justin Osterman is now challenging for the lead with Matt Sisler. He has a handful of race car, but he's managing it really well in front of Ryan O'Donoghue. And now they're 3 wide coming down the front stretch.
Yes, they are. Ryan O'Donoghue put him 3 wide. Justin Osterman barely lets O'Donoghue back up on the racing surface, but that's going to give O'Donoghue a poor angle into turn number 1. I think Matt Sisler saw what was coming and decided he was going to get out of the way of that mess. Sisler is back to third. O'Donoghue side by side, door handle to door handle with Justin Osterman.
Kind of turns down a little bit there, and it's going to hurt his momentum.
I almost thought that was more of a hip check from O'Donoghue. Remember all of and we've talked about Justin Osterman and how he's been getting better, Sam. He's not been as aggressive. He's been really kind of minding his P's and Q's. There's still a lot of IOUs floating around out there for for Justin Osterman, and I think we might have just seen one. I think Ryan O'Donoghue might have just shouldered him out of the way there a little bit. It's one of the reasons I love racing Indy cars. You can't be rough.
Well, there's no question that when you put fenders on these tires, it has a tendency to up the aggression as far as the drivers are concerned and how they utilize the cars. But it could be, there would be probably a consensus of views and opinions of that particular contact. But nonetheless, those two drivers weren't going to give up those positions easily because they both wanted the lead equally as bad. But now Ryan O'Donoghue has now decided he's just going to try and pull away as much as he can. And now there's a little bit of gap between he and Justin Osterman, and even more gap between Osterman and Sisler.
Yeah, we'll get it on the let's get in the P1 airship. And kind of show the viewers at home what the gap is. There's what it looks like. That's Ryan O'Donoghue in the lead. Justin Osterman second. Then you got a big gap back to Matt Sisler and Greg Evans, third and fourth. That space between Osterman and Sisler, that's what 3/4 of a second looks like at Kansas.
And these drivers can probably maintain this kind of speed and this kind of aggression on these tires for all the way up to about lap 115, lap 120, and then if they push these tires too much, then you're going to start to notice that those two cars behind them are going to start slowly catching them and kind of closing that gap. Big shout out to Crash Neon, who is now up to 5th position, starting 13th on the grid, and now here he is up in the 5th.
Yeah, he separated himself from the Hutchins-Hodgson-Dunwoody battle. Crash Neon, not a playoff driver, but he is hauling the mail. He is closed in on Greg Evans and Matt Sisler. Crash Neon's coming to the front.
Been interested to see exactly how James Hodgson has been very quiet tonight. Seems like he excuse me, rang the bell and got attention whenever he was fastest in qualifying, won the pole position. He was fast in practice as well. But this whole race, he has just quietly just put himself in a position to see where he's going to be at the end of the race. I do know that his lap times were equally as fast as Greg Evans at the end of the first stage, but I'm interested to see if in this particular instance, in the last stage, if it's not go time for James Hodgson, that he can utilize some of that speed that he showed off early in the event. Because that's quite a battle back there from 8th back to 11th.
Yeah, there he is, James Hodgson, and I know he was so disappointed in not making the playoffs on the truck side of things, but the forward-facing 88 has a chance to do it here in the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series, and he's making the most of that opportunity. Very quiet run. You're right. He did set on the pole, but he's decided he's going to come toward the front. I do want to point out that David Warmuth said that Dale Sr. once quipped that these cars had bumpers and fenders for a reason. I also pointed out that there may be a famous quote about kerosene rags and ants and candy somewhere in there, Sam. Since we're on the subject of candy.
That's probably one of the key mitigating factors that turns you off to candy.
I'm sure that that's one thing that I wish that we would have gotten to see, and it's one of the things that I think a lot of people that didn't that started following racing in the '90s, for example, that they missed. It used to be that big time drivers from different series they would go and race in other stuff. Mario Andretti famously won the Daytona 500. AJ Foyt same way. Leroy Yarborough was Rookie of the Year at the Indianapolis 500. Cale Yarborough ran the 500. Bobby Allison drove for Roger Penske at Indianapolis. Right? And so drivers used to go do different stuff, and it made them bigger stars. We kind of lost that, with the exception of Tony Stewart. Kyle Larson's doing that now, of course. Juan Montoya maybe would be considered a two-way driver, although
Patrick.
I wouldn't call her a star driver, Sam. In the sense that like those.
Well, name me a whole list of other female drivers that raced in NASCAR and Indy.
Well, none, but I mean, I was thinking more of.
You can't take that away from her, regardless of how you feel about her skill.
Janet Guthrie. How about that one? If you want to go back,
she was marketable and able to run in those series, and she actually does have an Indy win under her belt. Yeah,
she does. Twin Ring Motegi. Janet Guthrie, if you wanted to go back that far, Sam, for the first driver to run Indy and first female to run Indy in NASCAR. But my point.
I thought Janet Guthrie was a gutsy woman. I really do.
Yeah, no, she was amazing, and a very, very steady hand, especially at Indianapolis. Those cars were not easy to drive back then.
No, of course not.
But I think a generation of racing fans, and I've said this a lot as we continue to watch Greg Evans, Matt Sisler, and Crash Neon, Ryan O'Donoghue and Justin Osterman continue to battle. Osterman has gotten the better of that, and I think that's more that this situation up front as we go back to it was more of, okay, Mr. Osterman, if you'd like to go burn your tires up, you go right on ahead.
Well, we're getting closer to that 115, 120 mark where we'll start to see exactly who's been able to save the most.
Yes, we will.
I always felt like, on the subject of women racers, I always thought that Patty Moise was an excellent driver. She just never could get the equipment under her that allowed her to be able to, flex her skills.
For sure.
Now we see. Now what we see in our society today is that there is a whole slew of young women who are trying to make their mark known in racing, all the way from the grassroots areas, like here at Hickory or Tri-County Speedway where I live, to a lot of local tracks. And now you have so many ladies that are working their way through ARCA and some that are driving in the truck series. So this generation has produced more female uh, talent to try and get into the sport than it has ever produced in the history of the sport.
Yeah, absolutely, Sam. I mean, you talk about Patty Moise on the NASCAR side. Driver that I would put into that category on the Indy side would be Sarah Fisher. I'd never really had,
Oh yes, Sarah Fisher was a tremendous IndyCar driver, honestly.
but she never had the best of equipment. Matter of fact, she probably only had one season where
Agreed.
she probably only had one season in her entire career where she was in what I would consider a mid-level ride, which was the 2002 year with Ryan Reinbold when they had the Infinity factory deal. But I think for a whole generation, it's been lost. Could you have imagined the riot that would have happened had Dale Sr. showed up at Indianapolis in a Newman Haas or Gallus or Penske backed car back in the day?
He could have named the team. He could have done anything he wanted in that regard and had the best of everything.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm surprised it never happened. I would like to think that had he lived, he might have tried it at one point. I know that there was a lot of talk about doing sports cars. I would like to think that if Dale Sr. had lived, he might have given it a shot at some point. It would have been.
So focused on NASCAR racing. I don't know. I don't know if that was something that necessarily interested Dale.
I know he said he'd been offered him. I know he said he'd been offered a Menards car in years past, but that would have not. I don't think, as we watched Neon Sizzler and Greg Evans, I don't think that would have been something that would have interested him because those cars had no chance to win the race. They were pole day, they were pole day pinup cars, right? They went fast for one day. They got all the headlines, but then when the race started, they all blew up, right? They never could make it to the end, and I don't think that he would have been interested in that. But how big of a deal would that?
Oh, Vance Fisher with a handful off of turn 2. That's going to allow Rick Fallis to make the pass coming down the backstretch. What a great save by Vance Fisher
not
there.
So fast, my friend. Vance Fisher's coming right back on that outside. They got David Dunwoody with him. Probably the one thing that hurt that more than anything else, and we yearn, we think fondly of the tobacco days, right? But IndyCar's heavily sponsored by Marlboro. Would have been very difficult to make that work with the Winston Cup Series, I would imagine.
It would have been very unlike Dale to do things that would disrupt anything that messed with the momentum of NASCAR. He was a very staunch.
Sure.
He was very attached to the NASCAR series and anything to better the series. And there are tons of stories out there about how Dale worked so hard with Winston and other organizations to make sure that NASCAR was always putting their best product out on the racetrack and at the venues. And so I do know that he had a big hand in trying to make that work. Just by the information that you read through the history of NASCAR, and I don't think that he would have done anything that would
no doubt
more like the Indy and less like the NASCAR.
Oh, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that at all. I don't know about the roof. There is no roof on an Indy car. The highest an Indianapolis car goes, by the way, David, if you stand next to one, the top of that roll hoop. I'm 6 foot tall. The top of the roll hoop is about middle of my thigh, is how high those cars are. They are.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how low those cars are.
They are very, very small. We've got Logan Edwards checking in. He says he went from 15th to 2nd in the college series here last year. So the old narc brain checking in. Proud moment of his short running in that series, but Logan Edwards joining us here. I know they had a big race in the Warriors for Peace IndyCar series over on the Elite Racing Network side of things. And so that race must have been ended. I believe they were at Nashville tonight, which is an interesting That's interesting. I got some messages from Andrew Wood earlier today about Nashville. So we'll have to check that out. We're watching the battle for third and fourth. It is Matt Sisler leading Greg Evans. Crash Neon has abused the good years, and so they are now just ood years. There's no more good. James Hodgson is sixth. Kendall Paul seventh. He's kind of working his way back up after calamity in his pit stop. But there's your front four, and it's just about a second between O'Donoghue and Sisler now. Last time we showed that gap.
Yeah, now we're past that lap 115, 120 mark, and now we're at lap 122 coming to 123.
Tires are 30 laps old, Sam.
You start to see now where Sisler and Evans had decided to take a little bit more of a laid-back approach to this run. Now they're starting to run those two leaders down each lap. They're getting closer and closer.
Yes, they are. Here's another one for you, Sam, guys, that and we're 30 laps into the run. Here's another guy for you that you're gonna think that people think of as a great dirt driver, but not necessarily open wheel driver. Kenny Schrader made a stab at Indianapolis in the early 80s. They brought one car, one engine. Schrader wrecked the car, blew the engine.
They went home.
They went home. He never got a chance to run it. I would have loved to have seen Kenny Schrader do that race, just because it's Schrader, and to be fair, Kenny Schrader.
Kenny's still very active there in the Midwest.
Yeah,
he's still very active in dirt racing.
We went to
Kenny Wallace both.
Yeah, we went to a sprint car race at Terre Haute a couple of years ago, and doggone if Kenny Schrader didn't unload the modified, and he was out running around in a UMP modified.
He's got a stable of cars that he can run in different series, and he's very faithful in promoting. As we see Greg Evans now make his move past Matt Sisler, and they're going to be catching Ryan O'Donoghue here very shortly as they've closed that couple of second gap that was there. Now they're really starting to get in on the bumper of the 14, and before long, we'll see what they have for the leader, Justin Osterman.
I've got some numbers here for you, Sam. Osterman last time through 32.318. O'Donoghue 32.402. Evans 32.171.
Wow.
So the stopwatch. Wow. The stopwatch doesn't lie. Greg Evans drops to the bottom, and he is, I'm guessing, going to make pretty short work of Ryan O'Donoghue. Here he goes. But I was thinking about that Schrader deal. He retired. He only races 100 nights a year now instead of 200.
That's still considerable. That's twice a week.
Yeah, he's out there. You're exactly right. He's got a stable of modified, some late models. He's got the motor home. He's got Ann and cooler full of beer, and that's what he does for fun, man.
I've often wondered why Mark Martin. The only thing Mark Martin drives now is his big $1 million travel home that he has. That travel home he has is top notch. It is absolutely a stunner.
Well, see, the thing about Schrader and the thing that I absolutely love about Kenny is that if you're after the race and you go walking through the pit area at it doesn't matter if it's Terre Haute or Springfield or DuQuoin or wherever you are. If you're near Schrader in the beer cooler, you're going to wind up with a cold one in your hand, and he's going to talk to you.
Yeah. They're approachable. Those two guys are very approachable at those races.
Now, the problem is with Kenny Wallace, if you get a beer in Kenny Wallace's hand, he's not going to stop talking to you. You have to artfully plan your exit strategy, Sam. Don't tell him I said that.
I won't. I will keep that entirely between you and I.
Kenny Wallace.
Kendall Paul has worked his way after that pit mishap that he had at the end of the last stage. Kendall Paul has really done a great job to work himself up into the 5th spot, and so now he has a big gap to try and catch up to Ryan O'Donoghue, who is just now entering turn 3. but his lap times are quicker than Ryan O'Donoghue. And so before we see green flag pit stops, we could very well see Kendall Paul trying to make a bid for that fourth spot.
Yes, indeed. Kendall Paul is reeling in Ryan O'Donoghue ever so slightly. It's not as stark as Greg Evans, and Greg Evans is going to go to the lead here now. It's just a matter of time. He is catching the 53 of Justin Osterman as we see cars now begin to peel off onto the pit lane. Vance Fisher has decided to come to pit road. Do you think it's, Sam, it's a situation, if it's Vance Fisher, he may be looking at doing this in 2 stops? Do you think that's viable?
It could very well be the case. I think it's really pushing it. I don't know that they can go 60 laps on a tank here.
He'd have
especially
to
as much throttle as you use.
Oh, it would be.
I would think 45. I didn't look at my fuel mileage when I was running some test laps, but I think 60 at a mile and a half is kind of stretching it.
Yeah, it would be 67 laps to get home from here. I was thinking more.
Take a look and see if he had a meatball. Did he have a meatball for tire wear?
He did not. It was a standard. Okay. It was a standard stop, and so that's a strategic thing. I mean, new tires are going to be huge. We'll keep an eye on the stopwatch for Vance Fisher, just because he'll be kind of the canary in the coal mine, Sam. But it's. I don't know that you can go fast enough on the new shoes to make up the 2 laps that you lose.
Yeah, there's so much time differential there, and especially the pace that some of these leaders are continuing. Oh, and Justin Osterman makes a big move down the backstretch there. A little bit of either he was trying to give Greg the high side, or it might have been just a little discouragement on his part, but he doesn't look like he's going to hold the deuce up too much as Greg Evans makes the pass on the front stretch, and Osterman gives him a little attaboy going into turn 1. Make a lot of contact there. Greg Evans in the wall.
And that's something you don't see very often from Greg Evans. He gets in the wall a little bit. Sizzler is going to get by him. Continuing the discussion with David, there are only 2 drivers that I can think of, and correct me if I'm wrong, with a IndyCar win, a Stock Car Cup win, and an NHRA win, and that would be Tony Stewart and Sam. Do you know the other one?
Juan Pablo Montoya has a Indy win and a Winston Cup win and a Formula One win,
but not an NHRA win.
Correct.
John Andretti would be the other one, the other driver I was looking for. John Andretti won a eliminate. I don't believe he won the race. I know he won rounds and eliminations in a Top Fuel dragster. Tony Stewart has won the whole weekend, correct? In a dragster, is that right?
Oh yeah, no, he has several Wallies already. I think he has 3 Wallies already.
Now that's something you could not pay me enough money to do, Sam.
In Top Fuel and in alcohol.
You could not pay me enough money. There are not enough barrels full of cash that you could give me that would induce me to get into a Top Fuel dragster. That's like that would be like
you're essentially strapping a 11,000 horsepower bomb to your backside. I mean, if you really think about it, that's exactly what you're doing.
Coming from and Sam, coming from a guy that races Indy cars, you're like, he's calling somebody crazy? That doesn't make any sense. Those guys are nuts. Those guys are absolutely insane.
John Hutchins calls out his pit stop here.
Yeah, so these guys must be thinking that 2 stops is the way to go. In my experience, though, there's no way, Sam, to make up that much time. There's Hutchins as he's coming down 56 laps on his current run. And so remember, he stayed out at the stage, Sam. So he's going to be the first one in. I would expect Evans, Osterman, Sisler, O'Donohue, this group probably come in about 150, wouldn't you think? 145 to 150?
Oh yeah, no question. I think 55 laps is reasonable. And
Whoa, that's Sean Is that Roberts or Merriman?
That's Roberts there. That's it, right by the leaders. And now he's all the way. He's pinned the car to the wall on purpose here. He's trying to get out of the way.
Greg Evans now leaning on the side of Justin Osterman, and they've got the 70.
I can assure you, this is going to be a different story this time for Greg Evans. Greg Evans is not going to, if he can make this pass, he's going to make it, and he's going to leave. He's not going to want to race Justin Osterman again like they got into it the last time by. Osterman loose as he gets off of 2, and now that's going to put a gap here between he and Greg Evans, and Osterman's not going to be able to pull off this crossover move that he did last time, and Greg Evans has now got fresh air on the nose and about to put this deuce to the wind.
Yeah, he gets by Justin Osterman in good order. Here comes the 73 of Vance Fisher. Fisher trying to unlap himself. He is 2 laps down. He is on sticker tires. Well, not sticker anymore, but they are 10 laps old as opposed to 50 now on the leaders. John Hutchins did not lose the second lap. He only lost the 1 lap, and so that could be big for John Hutchins. If a caution is to fly in the cycle, he would be the first car 1 lap down, Sam. So that may be huge for John. Meanwhile, Justin Osterman is going to have his rearview mirror absolutely full of Matt Sisler.
Yeah, these last couple of laps where he's been battling for the lead, he's really had a handful of that race car, especially in turns 1 and 2. The cars really want to walk up the racetrack, and now Sisler is underneath him as they're racing door to door, coming off of turn 4 and down the front stretch. We'll see these 2 cars with differing lines of entry here. I'll be interested to see if Osterman will stay high this time. He'll let Sisler have that low side. He's looking to try and get a big run, but again, the car's just as a handful for him at this particular point. Those tires are screaming at this particular juncture of the race, and so Matt Sisler safely into second spot, and Justin Osterman is trying desperately to fight. Oh, and Sisler gets a little loose, and now they're door to door again.
Whoo-wee, Matt Sisler just grazes the wall coming off of turn number 4. That's going to let Justin Osterman power his number 53 to the inside. He's seen the shimmies in that car as well, but we're getting in now, Sam, to the window where you can make it the rest of the way. 145 is the beginning of that window opening. I would assume John Hutchins can also make it. I think you can probably go 60 laps on fuel. You just don't want to on the tires. And so it becomes a question now, Sam, of how long do you run these things before you come in and pit?
Well, I know that there are a lot of drivers like Greg Evans, and if he has the lead and he's able to pull out to that lead like he's done here, and he's already jumped out to almost a 2-second lead over Sisler and Osterman, is that he's going to try and stay out as long as he can on these tires.
Oh, for sure.
He can get the most out of this last run. So if you're lagging behind and you're in the latter part of the top 10, then by all means, just go ahead and come and get your fresh tires as soon as you can and try to make up track position while Evans is out there. And then hopefully you can make up enough track position that if a caution comes out, you can put yourself in a better starting spot on the subsequent restart.
Now, Greg Evans would be one to vote for infinite fuel in these cars. He's been anywhere between 0.3 to a half a second a lap faster than Sisler, Osterman, Paul, and O'Donohue.
Greg Evans is now calling out his pit stop.
Yeah, so the deuce is going to come to the pit lane.
So he's right at 55, a little over 55 laps on this run, and so now he's pitting in. Matt Sisler is now he's calling out his pit stop as well. Greg Evans is now slowing down the deuce as he comes down off the banking on turn 4. Matt Sisler with a big run here. He cuts that off and really closes the gap there going on the pit lane. Great approach there from Matt Sisler. Rhino
Every
Donahue is now pitting in. Sean Merriman is pitting in.
yeah, everybody in
Crash Neon is pitting in.
everybody in that top 5 except for Kendall Paul came to pit lane this time by, and they are all
And
gonna.
Kendall Paul just announced he and James Hodgson will be pitting this next time by.
Rick D is in. You see Dylan Godinez in the background. Who's going to be the contrarian, Sam? That's going to stay out. Who's going to be the contrarian?
I don't know how
that's gonna
many
stay
have
out and
enough
try to
fuel
travel
to
him a lap
stay
now?
out.
Well, David Dunwoody stayed, and so Dunwoody will assume the lead. He'll at least get the bonus point for leading a lap, and he is shutting that car off, Sam.
Is he clutching it?
I believe so. Let's get on board with him. I thought I heard the telltale silence, but he's coming into pit lane now.
Okay.
I thought
Because
I
I have raced races here at Kansas, especially fuel mileage races, and some drivers that are very good at clutching, they've been able to squeeze out a little bit more mileage just by doing that. It's an art, in my opinion, for drivers that can do that, in my opinion. I was never one that could do it very well, but there are some drivers who've mastered it.
Yeah, I can't do it either, either in a car with fenders or a car with wings. But David Dunwoody, he's going to come in, make his pit stop, and that's going to turn the lead back over to the Deuce, Greg Evans. Is the Sim Magic?
Is there a lap lead bonus?
I don't believe so. I don't.
Okay. I was just wondering if that might be David Dunwoody's motive there to stay out a little bit longer, in hopes that he might get another championship point by leading a lap.
Well, I think you do get a point for leading a lap. I don't think you get a point for leading the most laps. I believe there is a point for pole, if I'm not mistaken. So,
and I am wondering, looking at how everything is playing out here, did Justin Osterman have a bad pit stop?
he was 54 seconds on pit lane and 51
Wow.
in the box. And so that indicates to me that the 53, Mr. Excitement, has overshot the old pit box.
He did overshoot. He had to back up. Well, he didn't catch it right away. And then he missed it again. He had to back up twice.
Oh, dear. So that would explain
was
the extra
really-
13.
Yeah, there was a lot of hesitation there. He pulled through the stop, then he backed up a hair, and then there was a big hesitation, and then another backup. Wow. Oh, Osterman's got to be disappointed in that.
He most certainly has to be. He's back down to 10th spot, 20 seconds off the leader being this man right here, Greg Evans. The nearest battle for position on the Speedway is back around here. That's Rick D. Fallis. He is going to set up the pass and drive it underneath John Hutchins. Now remember, I had kind of said earlier, if this thing stays green and the tires wear out, Rick D is going to be one of the people you'll want to watch. We haven't called his name, Sam, but he has very quietly worked the Marty Robbins special up into the 8th spot.
Rick Fallis is a big proponent of long green flag racing. He's very good at preserving the car. He's very conscious of the drivers around him. In my opinion, if there was ever a gentleman racer, it would be Rick Fallis, just simply because of the great spirit that he has. And but the races that have long green flag runs, or he can work some tire management in, that fits into his racing style.
Yes, it does. Not only that, Sam, the painter on that car, highly skilled. That is some great artwork. Can you tell us the colors? Because the colors, I love it when you name out the colors, and I always get it wrong.
Well, the yellow is a lemon twist color, but the purplish pinkish color does not have. I did not find a name for that. I just had to find a color swatch with a color code, and so it didn't have a name. I'm sure Marty Robbins probably had a name for that color, but I only went by a color code with a swatch match that I had.
So the colors are,
Because
Sam,
it's-
I looked it up.
Oh, did you?
Magenta and chartreuse.
No, it's chartreuse.
Chartreuse. Whatever.
Yes. Charcuterie is what you eat off of a plate. Like
See, I'm hungry.
lunch and meat.
I'm hungry. Also, Matt Wagner called you a nerd. You better get back in there. You better get in there and whip him into shape, will you, Sam? But that is Rick Fowles. Kendall Paul, meanwhile, has pulled up on the back of David Dunwoody. There are no other battles on the track that are closer than 1 second, other than this car.
David Worthman is talking about iRacing lets you make a pit sign. Actually, the pit signs in iRacing are customizable.
Yeah, it's in the paint with
You
the.
can make the pit sign in any way that you can put anything you'd like on the pit sign.
Brent Alt checks in. He says he's a nerd. Jay, look, there's nothing wrong with being a nerd. I think at this level we're all kind of nerds, and it's great to have you along, Brett. We are watching lap 160 to 161 of 200 here in the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series. This is the race here for 6th and 7th. David Dunwoody has it. Kendall Paul wants it. They have caught Crash Neon. They have not. No, have they? Yes, they have caught Crash Neon. And so these three, 5th, 6th, and 7th, is really, Sam, the only battle for position on the course.
At least, it's not like the field is completely gotten separated. There seems to be some battles going on that we can keep an eye on. And just to briefly go back, we were talking about Rick Fowles and Rick, that paint scheme. Actually, I just squeezed out a paint scheme for him yesterday, and he raced in a big ARCA event last night with some of the actual ARCA drivers that race on the circuit. And he raced in a big event last night and finished. He was running top 10 most of the event last night, and there was just a misfortune on a pit stop, and it kind of relegated him back to a 13th place finish. But he was pretty excited to be out there racing with some NASCAR ARCA drivers. Hodgson here. He has so quietly just worked his way up into the 4th position tonight, and he's just sitting there in a good spot by himself and just can run his own pace and his own speed. Same thing with Ryan O'Donoghue, Matt Stifler, and then what we're seeing is that Greg Evans has jumped out to a commanding 3.5-second lead after pit stops. Even after that great entry by Matt Stifler, Greg Evans has been able to pull away, and those gaps are starting to get a little bigger.
You know, Sam, the other thing I wanted to point out, I mean, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, of course, the only thing that's going to catch Greg Evans now is the flagman. I believe the deuce is gone,
right,
and it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle for second, which Matt Sisler is edging away from Ryan O'Donoghue, and then you've got James Hodgson, who's got about half a second over the Dunwoody-Paul Neon battle behind him. David Dunwoody, Kendall Paul have now got past Crash Neon, but they're not really catching James Hodgson in any sort of a meaningful way. They're swapping times back and forth, and so, you know, this is really the only real battle we've got. I don't foresee these guys catching. I don't see these guys catching Ryan O'Donoghue. I don't see O'Donoghue catching Sisler. And the only thing that's going to catch Greg Evans is the yellow light.
I won't disagree with that, especially with that deuce start sniffing the lead and clean air. It's very, very difficult to run him down, especially on the longer run. But the field really has kind of separated itself out quite a bit. I'd be interested. Oh, when Justin Osterman is really just pushing that car as hard as he can push it. I'd be interested to see how Justin Osterman kind of finishes out this particular race. As he's going, I know that he's going to do everything in his power to catch up with Rick Vallis and make up at least one more spot, considering that he is a playoff driver. So I would be watching that in the late stages. Dylan Godinez.
Woo, car on the wall. Car on the wall. That's Sean. That's Sean Roberts. Yeah. And I thought just briefly there that the closure rate with Kendall Paul was going to carry him right in the back of Roberts. So good work from Kendall Paul to avoid that. David Dunwoody has started to pull away from Kendall Paul and crashed Neon. Dunwoody is very slowly creeping in on the forward-facing 88 of James Hodgson. We're on board with Tweety Bird, David Dunwoody, as he just inches in. And Dunwoody, there it is. There it is, Sam. Did you hear it?
I'm going to jump in the car with him and see if I can hear it. David Dunwoody. Woo! Handful there off too. He's working that wheel.
Yes, he has. But we were talking about putting in the clutch and coasting earlier.
Yes, he's clutching. He's clutching.
He is most certainly clutching. David Dunwoody.
And actually, that can save some tire for that car.
Yeah, so what winds up happening with it, Sam, what winds up happening with it, Sam, is you're going slower.
Front, you're using up in the right rear, so it can balance itself out in some regards.
Well, it's kind of the old strategy we used to talk about in Indy cars all the time. The temptation is to, at a place with progressive banking like Kansas or Texas or Kentucky or Homestead, the temptation is to really, really rip the top because you can make time up there. But what we found is if you slow down and just kind of let the car roll along the bottom, you're going to lose a little bit of time in the short term, but it takes care of your tires. And so I'm wondering if Dunwoody, he shouldn't be needing to save fuel here, but I'm wondering if he's doing it just as a tire-saving technique where he's off the throttle quite a bit more, he's letting the car roll, and he's not picking the gas up as quick, and it's just saved him so much tire that now he's a little bit quicker than everybody else.
Right. And some drivers find a nice balance there at tracks like Kansas to give them that advantage.
You know, Sam, I did want to point out that Brett Alt here has given me some incredible knowledge. So one of the things that I've always wanted to do and do it for the channel is get the old Indianapolis 500, the simulation, Papyrus video games, right? IndyCar Racing 2, and so on. Get them up and get a race streamed in a modern rig. I think that would be an absolute riot, Sam. But I've never been able to do it, and so.
Oh, David Dunwoody again with a handful of race cars.
Yes, he does.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
But my point is that Brett has pointed me to a YouTuber who is able to get IndyCar Racing 2 in high def.
Oh.
And so now that means I'm going to have to go do it, right? Can you imagine one of those games on a modern rig? In a modern setup with the steering wheel and all that? We used to do that stuff with our keyboards and mice. Nothing more fun, by the way, than driving. Nothing more fun, by the way, than trying to drive Long Beach with a mouse.
With a keyboard, yeah.
And a keyboard arrow keys, yeah.
Sean Roberts has called it a night, taking the car behind the wall
Yes, he
in the
has.
closing stages of this race. We're down to 25 laps remaining in the event.
Well, and that's going to mean that Sean Merriman is going to win the Battle of the Seans. In 3 laps, he will make a pass on Sean Roberts to finish 13th, and then he will be unable to progress further once Sean Roberts makes that move. He will be locked into 13th spot because he won't be able to catch Dylan Godinez. Dylan Godinez is now 12th, and hey, for persistence, give Dylan a lot of credit. He's kept everything going in the right direction. He had the internet issue earlier.
Right.
Dylan could have easily called this a night and finished 19th. Instead, he's going to finish 12th.
It's a heroic effort on Dylan Godinez's part tonight to do what he's done. Honestly, it really is heroic, and it just, I was thinking about this before the race started tonight. Is that what a lot of people don't take into consideration with online racing is that there is a plethora of leagues that drivers can go out there and be a part of. If you were in the theme, you could go to the league page, and there are dozens and dozens and dozens
Hundreds.
of leagues that you can join that are all over the world. And so when you have drivers that jump into a league and they commit themselves to a season, I really, again, I have great respect for drivers that are willing to stick it out and race. If they commit to a league and they commit to a season, to stay in that league, run the season out, and be a participant. Whether you've made the playoffs, you didn't make the playoffs, whatever, but we've had this consistent group week in and week out, and I would like to see that. At the beginning of the year, we were seeing 30-car fields, and a lot of leagues, that attendance begins to diminish, either because real life gets in the way or drivers become and they just decide they want to move on. Ooh, James Hodgson with a handful of car, and that's going to allow Dunwoody to catch up a little bit here. But for these drivers to show up week in, week out, be faithful to what's going on here at AMA, and run out their playoff series, and to show up and be here week in, week out, I just have the utmost respect for drivers that do that.
Yes, indeed. And look, I mean, Godinez sticking it out. He's going to be rewarded here with a 12th place finish. He is in the playoffs. He's going to score points on Eric Corder and Troy Carricker. He's also going to gain on Sean Merriman. He's not going to lose all that much to Hutchins or Osterman. It's worth it for him after he's put in so much effort over the course of a season to continue.
Yes. Yes.
We're watching David Dunwoody. He has now caught James Hodgson. This is the closest battle on the track. Kendall Paul and Crash Neon have exchanged spots one more time. Move Crash Neon to 6th, Kendall Paul to 7th. We are working lap 182 of 200, 183 now on the board. If you haven't already done so, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, and subscribe to the P1 Broadcasting channel and be notified of all future iRacing broadcasts. And Sam, I have to thank Brett Ault. That is some good information that I got from him. Now I'm going to be awake all night trying to figure out how to make IndyCar Racing 2 work in high definition with my steering wheel and triple monitors. This will be fun.
I was trying to think of the series that N2K3 started with their road course racing.
So I remember Indianapolis 5. I mean the arcade stuff, yes. I mean pole position and so forth. The one that I played in the arcades, it wasn't pole position. That was a little bit before me, although I did play it. The one that I always gravitated to was race driving and hard driving. You remember the Ferrari that you would drive around the track, and it was almost like a real car simulator. David Dunwoody just smoked the right rear tire going through turn one.
I'm in the passenger seat with him, and he is racing this car for everything it's worth.
I have not
try to get around James Hodgson.
I have not seen. That is something that I have not seen since the bias ply tire days. when the Winston Cup cars used to do that in the late '80s, where they would smoke the rear tires. I mean, that's. Do you understand how much you have to slip the right rear to make it visibly smoke in iRacing? My goodness sakes! And not only that, it's a radial tire. They're not supposed to do that.
No, they're not. I'm really surprised that we've not seen more drivers really go up against the wall here at Kansas.
Well, Dunwoody started to do it.
Yeah, he did, but these cars are getting extremely loose on the longer the run. Even though the track temperature has dropped 8 degrees since the beginning of the race, there's still enough heat in the track that these cars are having a little trouble with the grip late in the stage. But I'm really surprised that we haven't seen more drivers that have just decided they wanted to run the top.
Yeah, and maybe it comes down to a comfort thing, and maybe it's, just the way this particular car handles today at this track with these weather conditions. Maybe they just haven't found it advantageous. Christian Light was one that went up there early. Of course, he was involved in an accident early. But you're right. We haven't seen anybody make it high, wide, and Hanson this evening. 14 laps to go here. But Dunwoody, now he's looking on the bottom. He's driving that baby for all it's. He's driving that car for all it's worth, and we're going to get on board with him. Why not?
Those angry hands as he's just trying everything in his power just to keep that car straight.
Yes, he is. And one more time, watch the hands, fans. Watch the hands. He is almost drifting that car through the corners.
Is.
Yeah.
And if you're in the car with him, you can hear the tires just how angrily they're going across the asphalt.
Yes, he is. And I'm with you, David. Somebody needs to get up there and give it a shot. Somebody needs to get up there and give it a shot. Dunwoody, speaking of giving a shot, he's gonna give he's gonna give a shot to James Hodgson. Would like to point out that these two are good friends. They're endurance teammates. They race together a lot. They are not in the same Discord channel tonight. They're not in the same Discord channel tonight, but they are very good friends. As Crash Neon has pulled back up on this battle again, this remains.
He's got a great seat for this race. Yeah,
this remains the closest.
Oh, Dunwoody is completely sideways. That's going to open up the door for Crash Neon.
Well, not so fast, James. Not so fast, my friend. As Lee Corso would say, Dunwoody is going to keep that 28 wound up on the bottom, and let's see if he can get back by. This has also made Kendall Paul an interested party. I had gone on board with Neon just in time to see David Dunwoody turn his car flat sideways. So that's going to let James Hodgson off the hook for now. Neon, Dunwoody, and Kendall Paul, they're left to battle it out for 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Yeah, all these drivers are 14 seconds behind the leader, but it really is the best racing on the racetrack at the moment. And everybody is really committed themselves to try and get the best finish that they can tonight. So,
whoa, Dunwoody hard in the wall. Kendall Paul collected. Caution on the Speedway. Trouble. 9 laps to go, and that has taken out 2 of our championship contenders.
Everything.
And it does change everything.
That changes everything.
It does. We're going to jump on board with David Dunwoody.
David Dunwoody, I think the car just this time, it just got so, he closed so much on Crash Neon, and the back got a little loose and a little overcorrection, and then chaos after that. Kendall Paul, massive damage to that 78 machine. That Ford Mustang is now
goodness.
Terrible condition. Terrible condition.
Oh, goodness sakes. Sam, watch what happens to Dunwoody here. This is he almost Gordon Smiley's the thing. He goes down in here and the car is so loose. You can see him working the steering wheel. He turns it right he catches it to the right one too many times, and this car is just going to hook up and go straight to the wall. And
Yes.
Kendall Paul has nowhere to go. Poor Kendall Paul. Dunwoody with the meatball. And watch this from the perspective of Kendall Paul and the Archway Industrial Coatings Ford Mustang. See, I didn't call it a Thunderbird that time. But look at how sideways Dunwoody's car is. And then this thing
Yeah.
is just going to hook up and go straight right. There. Slams the wall, bounces across the track. Nowhere for Kendall Paul to go. Completely innocent bystander is Kendall Paul. He spins it down through the grass. But now Kendall Paul is hoodless. David Dunwoody has the meatball. This is all going to work out in favor of Dylan Godinez, who is still 3 laps down. But you got to think, Dunwoody is going to lose that many getting his car fixed. And Kendall Paul, although he doesn't have a meatball, Dunwoody has a black flag. Kendall Paul doesn't have a meatball to respect, but there's a lot of damage on that 78, Sam.
Oh, I'm be surprised if he can actually get repairs enough that he can get back on the racetrack. I don't know that he'll be able to afford those. I mean, in all hopes, we're sending the best out to Kendall Paul that he'd be able to do that. But he really, really wrecked that poor Mustang tremendously, especially as he goes careening down through the infield. These drivers that are in the lead have some tires left, and that's really going to open up a pretty exciting finish here at Kansas. I'm just really going to be sitting on the edge of my seat now. We were just going to ride this thing out, but now it's going to be Katie bar the door for the rest of this race.
David Dunwoody has disconnected, so there's another position for Dylan Godinez. Remember I said earlier the only person that could beat Greg Evans was the flagman.
Well, he's not beat yet, but it certainly has made it interesting.
Yes, it has.
I'm really surprised. Kendall Paul is still under power. He's still under power. And
Not only that,
says a lot.
Not only that, he's back on the racing surface, and he's maintained his spot on the lead lap. If he's able to just continue to circulate here, he's going to finish 9th, which puts him better than 4 playoff drivers. And so it's worth it to Kendall Paul.
And then David Dunwoody, if David Dunwoody is checked out here, then what that's going to do is it's going to allow Vance Fisher and Dylan Godinez to get around. And David, I really thought that was the case. I thought that your closing speed was really fast on the 12, and because it's 0 on our broadcast, but he's being scored as the 12. So I thought that your closing speed was really, really fast, catching him off of 4, and you made a correction there. I really thought that's probably what it was with that loose condition, and you overcorrected.
Got to hold on to her.
Flag.
To be fair, David Dunwoody, he did just say he lost it. I'm reminded of my good friend Phil Krause. Just hang on to it, driver. Hang on to it, driver.
Here we go. Matt Sisler into 3. He's underneath Ryan O'Donoghue. Ryan O'Donoghue's going to go the high line here.
O'Donoghue
is going to be right on the bumper of Greg Evans.
O'Donoghue's going to try to rim ride to glory. Look at
the run that the 14 gets on the high side.
They're going to put Greg Evans in the middle, Sisler on the bottom, Ryan O'Donoghue on the top. Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman.
Greg Evans is loose.
Osterman's
going to take this. Ryan O'Donoghue to the lead.
We're not done yet, Sam. We've got 4 laps to go, coming to get 3 to go this time. O'Donoghue and Sisler, 1 and 2. Osterman 3rd. Evans is 4th. He is led by far the most laps. Greg Evans going to work it back to the inside of Justin Osterman for 3rd. Sisler and O'Donoghue battle for the lead.
We're 2 by 2 with the front 4 cars, and now Ryan O'Donoghue's hugging the bottom as he's trying to race off hard. He'll clear the 35 down the back stretch, but Matt Sisler's going to size him up for another run going through 3 and 4.
One more time, they go down the back into turn 3 and 4. Evans has made the move to clear Justin Osterman. He'll go to 3rd. Ryan O'Donoghue leads it. Sisler 2nd. Evans 3rd.
It's James Hodgson with a handful. He saves it.
Still trying to save it. James Hodgson saved it. I would cut to the replay, but I don't want to leave the battle for the lead. It is Ryan O'Donoghue.
No, this is too good.
It is good indeed. Rhino Donahue, your leader. Sizzler second. Evans third. We're going to come to get the white flag this time. One more lap here at Kansas to decide it. The front four under a blanket. Greg Evans in the wall hard.
Justin Osterman. Now let's go to the lead. Rhino Donahue is going to try to hold off Matt Sisler as they come through 1 and 2. The next flag is going to finish this race.
O'Donohue leads it coming off of turn 2. Sizzler looking to the bottom, down the back straightaway. Crash Neon is in third, and Rick Fallos has made it to fourth. It's going to be Matt Sizzler gets loose off the bottom. It's going to be Ryan O'Donohue as they exit turn number 4. Barney has the checkered flag in the air. Ryan O'Donohue, Matt Sizzler.
To this race. Oh, and Ryan O'Donohue's he's on the horn. He's excited.
I'll bet you he is. Ryan O'Donohue is your winner for Matt Sizzler and Crash Neon. Greg Evans fell all the way to 9th. Last car on the lead lap for Greg Evans. And we're going to have to go back and let's show the fans at home what happened to Greg Evans here. I don't think there's any controversy about this. I think Greg just kind of...
He just got a handful of a loose race car, and again, that overcorrection, they're just trying to save it. Got the car out of shape, and then he runs it in the wall, and then, of course, collects Justin Osterman in the meantime.
David Dunwoody, you are in great company because Greg Evans did the exact same thing you did right up in front of Osterman. Justin Osterman, no hood on the car. He'll get passed by... He'll get passed by Crash Neon, but Osterman will bring it home in 5th, Sam. Whew.
We only have 2 playoff drivers that finished in the top 5.
Yes, we did. One of those is the winner, Ryan O'Donohue. He brings it home as the winner tonight at Kansas. In second, Matt Sizzler, Crash Neon is going to round out your podium. Rick Fallas, he's going to come home a fine 4th, and Justin Osterman is 5th. O'Donohue and Osterman, the only playoff drivers that did make it into the top 5. John Hutchins, James Hodgson, Kendall Paul, Greg Evans, the final cars on the lead lap 5 through 9, and Vance Fisher, he'll bring it home 10th, 3 laps down. 11th, you've got Dylan Godinez. 12th, David Dunwoody. Out of the race, Sean Merriman, Sean Roberts, Eric Porter, Christian Light, Keith Graham, Troy Carricker, and Donald Green.
Do you think Ryan O'Donohue is happy? He's still out here doing donuts on the racetrack. He is so excited. I mean, if you're going to wait to win I think that's his first win in the Grand National Series this year.
I believe you're right. I think
it is. And if you're going to wait to win a race, I mean, why not go ahead and do it in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, why not? Waiting on Crash Neon Matters Crash. We'll go ahead and bring him in. You ready, Sam?
Oh, let's do it.
Crash Neon, you've got Murph, you've got Sam Crow in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
I got you loud and clear.
I'll tell you what, man. This car was loose. It was fast. It was wild at the end. Tell us about your night, my man.
Yeah, I felt our Twin Peaks Xfinity Chevy Camaro was pretty fast. It was kind of like loosey-goosey the first half of the race. It felt like it just wanted to snap on you. But as the sun kind of set towards the end, it got a little bit faster. I didn't think we had a top 3 car there, but hey, we somehow managed to get a top 3 there.
Congratulations on your first podium here, Crash. It's just a great run. It was fun to watch you racing your way up. I mean, you started way back in the grid. You started in the 13th spot. And can you just give us a little insight about how you were feeling making your way up through the field? I mean, clearly you had a great long run car, but just give us a little insight about your race working up through that traffic in the early stages.
Yeah, in the early stages, the car was very, very loose. But then when I tried to manage the car, it actually kind of got tight towards the end when I was trying to tire manage, and that's how we kind of sneaked past a few people there.
Well, Sneak
Well, there's no
Pat.
question that you had a plenty fast race car, and it's good to it's really good to have races like that to kind of boost your morale as far as races that are ahead of you. Have you got some kind of predictions for those that as we move forward?
Not really, no.
Well, I'll tell you what. I predict that we're going to see a lot more on P1 between this series, between the AMA. You're still doing the IndyCar stuff on Tuesday nights. I believe we're going to see a lot more Crash Neon in the P1 interview room and doing this. So as you know, you get to the podium, you get the microphone, friends, family, sponsors, shout outs. The floor is yours, Crash. Take it away.
First of all, I'm going to give a shout out to my sponsors, Twin Peak and Ghost. They gave us a fast car today. And my second shout out will go to Michael Mrutz. On Saturday, he got his YouTube hacked, thinking he was going to get a sponsor, and that ultimately led to his YouTube getting terminated. But thankfully, Michael got it back. So
Wow.
go over to Michael Mrutz's channel, send him some love, tell him I sent you.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
Hey, no, Crash. Thank you so much for joining in. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Great job, Crash.
That is Crash Neon. For second place, we're going to bring in Matt Sizzler. Matt, you've got Murph, you've got Sam Crow in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy. How are you guys?
You know, we're not doing too bad. That was another wild finish for you. You were up in the front, traded anywhere but in the first 3 or 4 spots all day. You wind up in the right spot for the final shootout. What would it have taken to get by Ryan O'Donohue at the end?
The chrome horn. That's what it would have taken. Yeah, I got in front of Greg, and I thought, okay, maybe I can hold it. And then I saw Ryan had the run off the top out of 2 that one lap. I think it was like with 3 to go, and I knew he was going to go low, and I half blocked it, and then tried to run up top because I felt like I could carry the momentum in our 3 birdie ZL1 up high. And I don't know. I guess there's a little bump in 1 and 2 because 3 and 4 I was able to roll it, stay with him, and then in 1 and 2 it just kicked a bump. I had the lift, and that was it. So after that, it was pretty much going to be, get to him. You drive it deeper into the corner than him, and get to him and actually give him a bump because I know I'd been getting people arrow loose, but I think it would have taken like I said, chrome horn to get him out of the way there at the end. Hats off to him. He did a great job, and hats off to Greg, even if he didn't get the result he wanted, because without that late yellow, Ryan and I would have had no chance. He did everything right except for have that caution come out on him.
Great job again, Matt. You've certainly a major presence known here in the AMA with this run of top finishes that you've had in both series. But tonight, it seemed like there was a lot of give and take in your race. Was that by design, where you raced your way up to the lead as quick as you could, and then later it seemed like some drivers would push to come past you, and then you'd wait a little bit and then go back. So there was a lot of give and take there. Was that part of your strategy tonight, is just managing the tires in that way, or were these guys just pushing you to try to run their race?
I mean, I was just trying anything that would work. Early on, we did exactly that because I think we got to the lead early. We kind of held it. Ryan got it back, and then I think he burned his stuff up a little faster than he wanted to, and we were able to get back around him. And realizing that, I think that kind of just got folded into the game plan. Okay, let's take care of the tires. Let's see if we can't get runs late. And then Greg got to the front, and then that kind of with him out front, it was pretty much going to be a fight for second. And, just the tire strategy, I think it got me far enough away from Ryan, because off that final pit stop, Ryan, I think, got to within a second of me. And I was really, like you said, I was taking care of the tires, just trying to make sure I had something left. I pretty much knew Greg was gone. I was just trying to consolidate second. And I could see Ryan coming, and then he slowly started to fade back, and I started to pick it up a little bit towards Greg, but the problem was I wasn't catching him fast enough. So it was definitely part of it. And then of course, it all gets thrown out the window when we have a caution with like 10 to 15 to go.
It
I was
certainly
hoping
was a game changer for sure.
it was.
I
I was
mean,
hoping for,
your net finish was the same after the race as it was, before that last caution. Um, but I do have one more question for you as we're going into the latter part of the season, and now we're in the playoffs, and
Mhm.
and simply we know that you did not meet certain criteria to make the playoffs for when you came into the league. So
Mhm.
how do you approach? What's your mindset as you go into these last races, and you know that you're going to be racing with these drivers that are in playoff positions? What's a driver like you thinking about in those instances?
Well, I mean, I like I kind of approached it like colleague, trophy hunting. I want to win. That's what we're here for. But at the same time, I don't want to wipe people out for it. After they wrecked behind Ryan and me coming to the white flag, I had the thought go through my mind that if I just absolutely send turn one, I'm gonna punt him out of the way and I'm gonna drive off to the win. But like I've never been somebody who likes to do that. I would rather sit there and go, oh shoot, I should have given him the Crone horn. But like knowing like I would really hate that if I was in Ryan's position in the playoffs, especially, being in the because I'm just like I said, I'm here just to take the checkered flag and try to win. And
Mhm.
like if I'm in a reverse situation and somebody roots me out of the way when I've raced him clean all race and goes off to win, I'm not going to be happy about it. So I always try to race guys how they race me. And so yeah, just long and the short, I want to win, but I'm not gonna not I'm unless they're really slowing me up, I'm really not gonna knock a playoff driver out of the way to try to win.
Well, you're doing your sponsor a great service with that mindset, man. Great job tonight.
Yes, sir, Matt. Great. I'll echo those sentiments, and I'll echo what you said as well. You know the drill, my man. You've been up here enough. Friends, family, sponsor, shout outs. The floor is yours.
Oh, it's always Three Birdies Golf Company. They've been an awesome sponsor to me for over a year now. I love working with those guys. They're like family over there. Still have free shipping for all orders over 100 at threebirdiesgolf.com if you want to go check them out. That S4 guy, Zach Millant, for the awesome paint scheme you guys see on this car. I almost got him the win, which probably means I would have had to pay him $10 because there was a although that might have been for the throwback, so I don't know if that would have been necessary for this one. Track Bar Media, my school, Adrian College. We just had our 10-year college reunion from graduation, and God, that makes me feel really old. Peace, Love, and Pause Rescue, awesome thing out of Southeast Michigan. Celsius for the quick energy. Quick shout out as well to my ironically enough, my uncle Greg. His name, it's not Greg Evans, but his name was Greg Evans, which is highly ironic. So it would have been his birthday today, but he was one of the people that I lost out of my world in March. So I was giving it everything on the last lap for him, but he wouldn't. I don't think he would have wanted. I don't think he would have wanted me to root Ryan out of the way either, because he knows that's not who I am. But I'm sorry to pontificate a little bit on that.
No worries.
Black Magic Studio, this one was for him definitely. Black Magic Studios, awesome sponsorship here at AMA. Everybody at AMA who puts this on, and you guys at P1 Broadcasting who do an awesome job with this. I'm glad we could make it interesting. 9 laps there.
You sure did.
I tell you what, I was highly entertained, Matt. I do want to let you know, don't feel bad about 10 years out of college. My 25th high school reunion is this weekend. So.
Oh, you pups! You're both pups.
I know Sam's going to tell us.
I celebrate my 60th birthday next month, so I don't want to hear it.
You don't sound 60. You sound like late 40s, Sam. So.
Well, you're awful kind. I have to send you that $10.
That's all right. My wife insists that I act like I'm 12. So there you go. But anyway, get out of here. Keep going fast, having fun, Matt. We'll see you next week. All right.
All right, sounds good. You guys take care.
Yes, sir.
Take care, Matt.
That is Matt Sizzler. And for the man of the hour, we're going to go to Ryan O'Donoghue, who does like steak. There he is. Mr. O'Donohue, you've got Murph, you've got Sam in the P1 broadcasting booth. So now you can officially throw the monkey away. You've got your truck win. You've got your Grand National win. We said during the race that that nobody was going to beat Sam except the Flagman, and the Flagman kind of got it.
Greg. To beat Greg.
Beat Greg, excuse me. Nobody was going to beat Greg Evans except the Flagman, and the Flagman got him. What were your thoughts when that yellow came out?
The top. Yeah. No, I was really hoping we weren't going to get a yellow, to be honest. I was content with a handful of stage points, a third place, and move on to the Roval. Mile and a halves are really not kind of like the weak link in this, I think. But
yeah, you didn't set the fastest lap in practice today. Shame on you. The streak was 10,412 weeks in a row, and you broke it tonight.
Darn it. Well, I'll take the win, though.
Well, considering the year that you've had, Ryan, you've been so close. You've been, but we know that this hobby is about racing. This is not horseshoes and it's not hand grenades. It's actually the whole purpose is to try and get out there and win. And so now like Mark says, now that you've got this onus off of you and this stigma of being close and not getting the finish, what are your thoughts about kind of carrying that momentum into the rest of the playoffs? I mean, I saw that extended burnout. I heard you yelling on the radio after the race. Just kind of give us a little bit more about what's going through the mind of Ryan O'Donohue now that you've proved I'm not just fast in qualifying and practice. I can win these races.
Don't wind up in the Sunoco sign. That's what Ryan O'Donohue's thinking.
I know I peeked at it a couple of times tonight. I didn't want to be doing that, but no, yeah, we started playoffs with some good momentum, right? And I think it just peaked here. Hopefully not peaked, but it got us what we were looking for. Just wanted to stay consistent through here. This first stretch of races, I think now it opens up some doors, you know. We can go into next week at the Roval, not, you know, with chances. We can take different strategies, kind of like the truck win did, even though that was right at the end of the season there, the regular season. It kind of lets you, it opens up some doors, right, and just feel a little racy. You know, I definitely felt racy tonight. Like I said, with the top there, I tried a few times in practice. This couple new rescans of this track don't let you run it the entire race. It's really not sustainable. But anywhere under 5-6 laps into a run, you can mat it up there and make something happen. So, man, I'm looking forward to the rest of these playoffs.
I had actually said in the late state, you know, in the late stages of the race, I was really surprised that there weren't many more drivers that were utilizing or trying to drive the top. It's especially considering the momentum you could get off the top side anyway. But it was a brilliant move on your part to get up there on those fresh tires and make the most of it. It was a great job.
Yeah, when that yellow came out, I wasn't sure. You know, I was kind of bummed at first. Like I said, a handful of stage points and on to the next race would have been fine with me. But we were definitely going to catch Greg or Matt there. I kind of, the beginning of that last stage, I decided I was just going to go and worry about fuel later. Kind of took a minute to get to our number there, backed up to them guys. And I think it was a 53 kind of race them hard.
I was going to ask you if you felt like that you and Osterman were really going at it there for the lead. I mean, that was some really hard racing.
Yeah, for a minute, and then I figured I'd just tuck in behind him and start. I started there with a little bit of half throttle down and back, down the front, and then slowly we backed up to those other guys where they caught us. But he held them up enough, racing them. Not quite enough though. So once that cycle came out, we were kind of even. I wasn't gonna gain any on Matt or Greg, but yeah, yellows come out at some funky times, man. I'll take this win for sure.
Well deserved, my friend. Well deserved. Congratulations.
Very well
Thank you.
deserved. Very well deserved, Ryan. And because you deserve it, you get the trophy, you get the mic. Friends, family, sponsor, shout outs. The floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, my girlfriend Bridget's watching.
Hi, Bridget.
She's pumped. Mass Surgical Supply, Maxima Racing Oils, Heatwave Visual, AMA. These guys, this is such a fun league to race in, man. A lot of talent in here. A lot of it hasn't shown like same as mine. You know, there's some guys deserving of a win here that I see racing every week. That are definitely on even my radar as far as moving into next year. Putting a team together. There's definitely a list going of people I want to contact. So these guys, keep it up. We're having a great time. Kendall, all the admins, Archway Industrial Coatings, Black Magic Studios, Track Racer, Rogue Energy, Admin Box, and Mark and Sam in the booth, man. P1 Broadcasting. I can't wait to watch this one back, and everybody watching. Looks like we got a fan, and we'll have a steak dinner tonight.
Absolutely, Ryan. Keep going fast, have fun, buddy. We'll see you at the next one.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. See you next week.
Yes, sir. That is Ryan O'Donohue. He is the winner tonight at Kansas. Sam, that was
Man, what a finish.
Can you beat the finishes in this series? You can't beat the finishes in this series with a stick, Sam.
Greg Evans did message me after the event. He says it's a given that if I'm leading with 10 laps to go, somebody's going to bring out a caution.
I don't know, man. We said the only thing that could beat him was the flagman, and
yeah, we did. And you said it. You said it on several occasions, and it was prophetic in many regards. And what it did was it proved really what we had thought all along, that there were drivers in this race and in this league who are exceptionally good on sprint, running on fresh tires. They can handle the car under a loose condition. And Matt Sisler, Ryan O'Donohue, Greg Evans, by all practical purposes, equally as good. It didn't work out there at the end for him. But Dustin Hoffman was another one, and just what a finish that was to have them fighting it out 3 wide with a lap to go, and then it's just amazing. It's just really, honestly, the kind of product that the AMA's been putting out this year.
yes, it is. And speaking of products, Sam, you and I get to take tomorrow to recover from
thank goodness
from this one. The next race on P1 is going to be the Votive Indy Oval Series. That is going to happen at 8 o'clock on Sunday night. It'll be from Iowa Speedway. And then the big one, the Monday triple header. We're going to kick that off with the IndyCar Series Monday Night Top Split. IndyCar Open Series Monday Night Top Split. That's going to be from the Indy Grand Prix circuit at 8 o'clock. Immediately following that at 9:05, and we've got it set up, fans, so that you don't have to do anything. You just watch the you make a night of it. You watch the Indy Open race at 8. At 9:05, the Onyx Open Wheel Lotus 79 Series will go from New Hampshire. As soon as my stream stops, just like a TV station, baby, it's going to drop you right into Gary. He's going to have that race at 9:05, and then the Indy Next Road Series Monday Night Top Split, that will happen at 10. Same kind of thing. The stream will just automatically send you to the next one. On Tuesday night, it's a doubleheader with the Indy Oval Series live from the Texas Speedway, 8:15, and then the Indy Next Oval Series also will be from Texas at 9:30. No race on Wednesday. Both FIS and Horizon are off, and that brings us right back here. October the 2nd, it'll be the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series live from Charlotte. And then Friday night, it is the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series from the Charlotte Roval as well. Both those races, 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard, 8:35 race start. If you haven't already done so, make sure you do us a solid, smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the P1 Broadcasting channel, be notified of all future iRacing action. We do want to thank all of the drivers, the fans who came together tonight to make this a extremely fun broadcast and stream.
It was.
But also, we really want to thank the people that are really responsible. It's the firemen, the police, the military, the nurses that drive the EMTs that drive the ambulance, and Sam, the nurse that unloads you when you get to the hospital. Those are the people that we really want to thank, and thank you all for all you do. Until next week, Sam.
Mark, go get you some iced tea.
I'm gonna go get. I think I might need to put a shot of bourbon in there. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.